Hello. Hi, Ratna. Or it's showing up as Ratna on your phone, on your message. How are you? I need to look up the roster. 1 second. I used to have it here. Can you hear me? Let me see. Yeah, there you go. You are Ratna. So can you, if you can't hear me, can you write it in the chat? I'm not sure if you can hear me. Oh, hi, I guess you can hear me. Can you hear me? Yeah or no? Can you answer on the chat if you can't speak? Oh yeah, okay, good. Since I wasn't hearing back, I didn't know. So welcome. A lot of the, or many of the students who are coming to class today have been with me before, so they won't be starting this early. So I'm looking at the list to see who else I'm expecting early. Probably a few. So hopefully a few more people show up early. After that, people will begin to show up in 10 minutes and then in half an hour. So it looks like maybe for a little bit it's you and I. Are you from here? Are you in Santa Barbara? Not from here. Are you in Santa Barbara right now? Or are you in some other part of California? I'm not hearing your responses. I'm not seeing a response. I need to know if you're hearing me and if you're responding. The whole point of getting on at this point, no, I cannot hear you. Your sound is muted. Yeah, so you need to unmute yourself, which go to the bottom left of your screen and see the little icon that has a microphone. You need to click on that to unmute yourself. There you go. Now you're unmuted. Can you speak? Looks like you're unmuted, but I cannot hear you. Nope, I still cannot hear you. Oh man, that's not good. Have you been on Zoom before with the same Zoom? With sound? It does look like your sound is on, like your microphone is on, but I can't hear you. Let me disconnect my headset. I don't think it's me at this point because everything's working, but let me check. Let me switch your. Let me see. Could be me. I just, no, that's the mic. I want that. Let me switch to this for my speakers. Can you speak? Can you, I just switched a different speaker. Can you speak now? Let's see if that's working. Hi, Ed. Nice to see you.
Hi. Good to see you.
Hi. Oh, good. I'm glad someone else is here. I wanted to test if my system's working because Ratna's been here for a few minutes and I couldn't hear her.
Up, I'm here, up, running, all of that.
All right. Hi, whoever's on their iPhone. And what's your name? Hello.
Hello.
You. Hi, how are you? Are you Ratna?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now I can hear you. So
Yeah.
Ratna, now I'm hearing you with this echo because now you have sound on both devices. So can you go back to your original device, the one where we couldn't hear you, and turn the sound off on that one?
Yeah, I sound off.
Yeah, but it's not about muting. It's actually one more step. On the other device, go to the little microphone, and there's a tiny little arrow to the right of the microphone. Do you see that? Click on that little arrow and then go to audio settings. Or no, go one above and just say leave computer audio on one of the two devices.
Ah,
Just say leave computer audio on the one that we couldn't hear each other.
where is that sign?
Okay. So what kind of, are you on a laptop or on a Mac or on a PC? What are you on?
Yeah, I can make off this laptop. It's
Okay. So on the laptop, go to the Zoom tools that you see, like at the bottom of where my face is, you'll see like on the left, the microphone. Do you see the little
Yes.
mute? Okay. Right next to it, there's a little tiny arrow pointing up.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little triangle. Click on that little triangle and a menu pops up. The second choice from a bottom is leave computer audio.
Leave. Oh, yeah.
Click on that one. Perfect. Did you click on leave computer audio?
Yes.
Okay, good. So now we can hear only one sound. Perfect. That's much better. All right. Here we go. So I was saying that only a few people are going to be showing up early on.
Okay.
Doing this, making sure that, you know, Zoom is setting up correctly.
How
I'll do
long
my,
is this class?
it's pretty long. It goes till 12:45.
Oh, 12:45. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to be together for a big chunk of the
So
morning.
it is how many weeks?
I believe we have 6 meetings.
weeks.
It's 7 weeks, but we skip Thanksgiving Friday. So
Okay.
it's 7 weeks, but 6 meetings. Yeah, that's why they are condensed and long,
Yeah,
many hours
it's
in the
okay.
class.
Well, we could
Yeah.
learn more from you.
Yeah. So
So it's
so basically
once a week, right?
it's once
So-
a week on Fridays. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
And every Friday at 9 a.m. I'll
Okay.
be telling you more about the class when everyone else joins us. Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, I actually want to do this other thing, which is make sure that your Zoom is ready to go, that you have all the tools to share your screen with me and things like that. So do you have a Mac or a PC?
Mac.
Mac. Okay. So then let's practice sharing your screen with me, because the first time you do it, sometimes you need to do some permissions. Okay.
Yes.
So when we're doing this, when we're doing whatever work we're doing, at some point when you get stuck or you get stopped, the only way for me to know how to help you is if you show me what's up. And so that you need to share your screen. So go to your laptop, and in the same bottom bar where you just had the mute button, somewhere in the middle, you'll see a big green button that says share screen.
Yes. I click there.
Click on that one. Now, another window popped up with different things. At the bottom right of that window, there's a button called share, this blue button. Bottom right of that window, there's another button called share. Once you click on that, it probably says something about,
Oh, I couldn't see that. It's a desktop one, basic advanced files. Oh, share sound optimized for P2P. Oh yeah, I saw it now.
You see the share button?
So I click there.
Click on that. I'll be with you in a second, Ed. Click on the second share.
It's an open system preference.
Yeah. So now it says open system preferences. Okay. So now it opened up for you probably, right?
Yeah.
Click on that open system preferences. Okay. And now in there, you need to go bottom left. There's a click on that lock and put in your computer password.
Computer password. Oh. Where is
It's the one that you, so do you see a little, and the system preferences, do you see at the bottom left of that little window, a lock, like a bottom left of your window?
Okay, I'll go down. There is like screen recording, automation, analytic, and improvement.
Yeah,
advertising.
very, so right now,
Oh,
okay,
okay. There is a lock. Yeah.
there's a lock. Yeah, click on the lock and put in the same password that you put in when you open up your computer.
Okay.
All right. And now in the middle of that window, you should see the word Zoom. You should see it saying
Yeah.
Zoom.
Zoom dot.
Okay, good. So put a little check mark next to, turn on the check mark next to the word Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I checked
And,
it.
and now it says something about closing or something like that.
Yeah,
To say,
Zoom.us will not be able to record the content of your screen until it is quit.
that's fine. So just say,
Quit now?
I think it says later. Or
Yeah, there is a
I think
later
it says
or
later.
quit now.
Yeah, so say later.
Okay.
Okay. And now let's go back to the Zoom and try to share again. And this time you'll be able to share. Meanwhile, I'm going to talk to Ed for a second.
Okay.
Hey, Ed, I thought I didn't send you the welcome email with all the, if so, I'm sorry. Basically, the rest of the group is joining me at 9:30, I believe.
Okay.
Let me see, because I don't have the email in front of me.
And no, I didn't
I-
get the welcome. I did get your Zoom because I was sitting on your
Yeah.
Photoshop
Yeah,
Zoom waiting for you to come
yeah,
in.
yeah, I'm aware. I just thought that I had sent you the welcome email. I'm sorry. So let me go check if it's 9:30. So one second, Rotten, I'll be with you in a second, but I need
Okay.
to.
I didn't want to interrupt. That's why I sent the chat, by the way.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. When I'm in the middle of that process, it's, as you can see, quite intense. And now he can, now Ratna, you can wait for a minute while I help. Okay. Okay, welcome.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Yeah. So I know that we went back and forth on the registration, but I would have assumed that you got the welcome. I'm just concerned, did everyone know? Yeah, I sent it. Let me go to my sent.
I'll just come back. I'll just keep the video live and when I see
yeah,
the
no,
class,
it's
we'll
not
start
that.
class.
It's just that I'm trying to make sure that everyone got the welcome. I mean, I just want to make sure that everyone got that. Radna, you got an email from me saying welcome and a whole long bit of explanations. Yeah, I'm not finding
they
where
hadn't,
it's been.
Diane, if they hadn't, they'd all be online right now.
Well, they would have just gotten my link today to say, come.
But they would have started at 9 o'clock.
My hall.
So
yeah,
I'm the only one.
That's true.
Yeah,
oh,
so I
here
think
it
you're
is.
good. Anyway,
Okay, I see it right here. I'll forward it to you right now. But anyway, I found it. I sent it to your pipeline email. And yes, just to make sure that I'm clear when they're all coming in, I did say, oh no, 9:15 for VDI. Actually, I said 10 a.m. for
I'll see you at 10 o'clock
for the whole thing. Okay, great.
Okay.
See
Bye-bye.
you then. Okay, bye. All right. It's Mary Rose is joining us. Okay, so there you go. Sorry, Ratna, I had to help Ed because he's been in my classes and he knows the first part and he was asking me about that. So Mary just joined us. Hi, Mary.
Hello.
How are you doing?
All right.
Nice to meet you. So really glad to see Ratna in class today. A lot of the people who are joining us already know this portion. So that's why there's so few of us. So let me, but no, there's a lot of people coming in later. I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows how to do some of the basics and then how to get to the handouts and to VDI and things like that. So I was helping Ratna share his screen. So I'm going to continue with that for a second. We're going to do the whole introduction and who you are, who I am, and everything once people start joining us. Okay. So this is a weird start to the class, but I always find that it's best for all the people who've already been here to not just kind of sit there silently while I help.
Right.
the
No,
new
that's
people.
great.
So
Yeah, thank you.
yeah. No, you were about to say something. Go ahead.
Oh, I spend most of my life on Zoom, so I know all the Zoom stuff.
Okay.
What I don't, and I have an old stuff prior to Creative Cloud, but I
Okay,
don't have
so
all that
we'll
stuff.
work
So
with
that's
that.
when I'll chime in or come back.
Okay,
You're at that point.
perfect.
I'll listen in. Thanks.
Perfect. And well, as soon as I get Ratna set up with sharing his screen, then we'll go into figuring out Creative Cloud things. So Ratna, okay. So now back to you.
Yes.
So now that you set the system preferences so that you can share your screen. So now let's go back to that share screen button and click that share screen button again, the big green one. Okay. So
Okay.
Now, once you click the share screen button, the green one, now there again, another on the bottom right button that says share. You did this before and it sent you to the perfect. And now you're sharing. Okay, great. Yay. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing your screen. And see, once you have the first part set up, which is what you just did, because system preferences and all that is right, go ahead and say no, deny. Or actually go back to open system preferences for a second. Yeah. And then again, click on Zoom, but you already have that one set up to Zoom. So you're fine. Now you can quit from system preferences and you'll be fine. I'm going to stop your share because now you know how to do it. So Mary, then you're comfortable with sharing your screen. You know how to do it. Your computer set up for that. Mary? Oh, you said you'd pop in.
Yep.
In and out.
I'm there.
Okay, you're fine with that. You know how to share your screen then when necessary? You have it all
Yes.
set up for that? Great. A lot of people have used Zoom a lot, but then they don't necessarily share your screen. So that's why I needed to ask that second question, but that's great.
No, that's
So-
fine. I do it all the time. So yeah, just have to
Great,
find the
great.
right document so it's ready to come up.
Yeah, exactly. And then the next thing that I wanted to share with you, Ratna, about Zoom before we jump into the applications is that I need us, there's some buttons underneath that are reactions buttons, a little emoji faces and stuff. Can you go and click on reactions for a second? And it's kind of to the right of share screen. The buttons here, but there's only 3 that really work for this class. And that is the raise hand, the yes, and the no, which is like the green check mark and the no check mark. And the reason I use those 3 is because they stay up. So go ahead and raise your hand. Okay.
Yes.
So that's the raise your hand is the very bottommost choice, not the yes. I saw that Mary raised it. So it's the bottommost choice. Yeah. No, that's the thumbs up. And the reason I'm asking is because you might have an old version of Zoom. Do you see a long bottom bar that says raise hand? Do you not see that one?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because, so go ahead. Perfect. Now you're raising your hand. Now, yes would be when I ask you to say yes, that would be the green check mark. When I say no, that would be the red check mark and the raise hand. These stay up. See how your hand is still up? You have to lower your hand. So now click on lower your hand. Perfect. Whenever I'm polling the whole class, I need these to be there because the other ones, the thumbs up and hearts and clapping, a few seconds. And although I love having a little yay, thumbs up and all that, or a smile or whatnot, it's not good for when I'm asking the class, like, okay, everyone who's on a PC, give me a yes. Everyone who's on a Mac, give me a no. And then I can divide the class and I see who's on a Mac and a PC and they stay open. Okay. So that's the
Okay.
only other Zoom thing I need you to know. All right.
Yeah.
The last thing that you all need to do as soon as you sign in is go into the chat and just say a little hello or something like that. You've already written to me in the chat.
Yeah.
So you're already there. There's nothing particular you need to say, just register that you're here. Because then I have that chat to see who's been present or not. Okay, so Mary, if you want to go and say a little hi on the chat, that would be great. I do then use the reports as well, but what I need is your names that appear on the window to have your last name. So for example, Mary Rose, Mary Rose
is my
your
last name.
I was about to
Sorry,
say,
but
Mary-
it is my last name.
I just looked at the roster. I went, oh, I was about to say, Mary Rose, I need your last name. And I've been
Common
basically
question.
saying your first and last name. All right, so perfect. Now I have your last name, and Ratna, I have your first name. I need you to go to your little video and put your last name, and let me show you how to do that. Where you see yourself in the camera, where you see your name.
Yeah.
Over that, and you'll see 3 little blue dots appear. Do you see 3
Yes.
dots appear over your? Okay, click on that. And
And-
then click on rename. And then can you please add your last name? Okay. Because later, I mean, I get to know who you are, but then on the roster, I need to know who you are. Now, there is no one else called Ratna, so I probably would know that, that Ratna Pradhan is you. But maybe sometimes there's 3 Marys and I need to know which Mary, for example. But also in the official roster, when I download the report that I have to submit for attendance purposes, they need to know, they need your last name for the
Thank you.
anyway, for the attendance. So there you go. Now that's all the Zoom things that we need to do. And I am hoping that that everyone else who needs to know about the Creative Cloud is here. I thought I saw a couple more new names on the roster. So anyway, hopefully they have their own Creative Cloud and they're coming on at the right time. All right. So I have to ask you, first of all, who has, you mentioned, Mary, really quickly that you have an old version of Photoshop. Tell me a bit what you just said really quickly that I need to register it again.
I have I have never used Creative Cloud, but I had all of the old, in the old days, I had all of the old programs. So I still sometimes use them, but it's time that I move into Creative Cloud because so much has changed. But I have so I have some use of the prior of the program basics, but I resisted too long going to Creative Cloud.
Yeah, well, I mean, and unless you use it all the time, it is expensive, right? And so one of the good news is that I'll share with you a really, really good student price that you can get. So then you can decide whether to get it or not as a student. So that's part of what I'm going to do. But I'm also going to show you how to access the Creative Cloud for free using VDI. So let me check in now with Ratna first and see what his, Ratna, have you ever used any of the Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator or InDesign or Bridge?
No.
Okay, that's great. You know, you're going to see there's people in this class who have never used anything and this is their first attempt. And then there's other people in this class who've used them a lot and they're just coming for refreshers, renewals, and it's going to work for everyone. It's a multi-level class, but I needed to know to see if you have the applications. Now, there's 2 options for you for this class. One is to not buy anything and to just use VDI, which means we're going to access through a browser. We're going to connect to the school computers, and you will use the computer software
Yes.
that belongs to the school. And that is what I'm going to be doing to demonstrate during the class. I'll be using the school software. Plan B is you can choose to buy the subscription to the Creative Cloud at a student price. And normally it's like, if you were not a student, it's like $55 a month or something like that. And it's going to cost you $80 a year, or actually $40 a year for 6 months. I think they stopped selling the year version. $40 for 6 months now. So it's way cheaper than even 1 month would have cost you if you're not a student. So I'm going to show you now how to do that, and then you guys can choose what you want to do. But for today, definitely you don't have time to decide to buy it and do it and install it, because today's class. So today you're going to be doing VDI. Okay. The same goes for you, Mary Rose. Today, VDI, even if you choose to go the purchasing mode, we're going to have to start with VDI for today. And then you can decide if you want to purchase it and install it by next class. So I'm going to share my screen right now. And the most important thing is that when you use VDI, do your best to have either Firefox or Chrome be your browser. So if you're on a Mac, maybe Safari is not the best browser for VDI. Lately, it hasn't given us problems, but we were having a few problems before. Ratna, you said you're on a Mac.
Yes.
Do you have, what browser do you use for the internet? Do you use the Safari or?
I use Chrome.
Chrome. Okay, so go ahead and open Chrome. And Mary, are you a PC or a Mac person? You're Firefox. Okay, good. I'm on Firefox right now. The screen that I'm sharing is Firefox. But still, are you PC or?
I'm a PC.
Mac?
I'm a PC person.
Okay. Great. Well, you'll see that the class divides into both, and I'll be demonstrating on a PC, but I also have, I'm on a Mac myself, so when necessary, I can also demonstrate on a Mac at the same time. So Ratna, same once you're inside of them for Mac or PC, except for a couple of shortcuts. So I'll be always giving the shortcuts for both Mac or PC. Okay. So basically what I need you to do is to, first of all, before we open a new tab and open VDI, the first thing I need you to know is that when I share my screen, like now, I'm probably filling your screen, right? Is my Zoom like all over the place? Do you see your screen in the background at this point or not?
Yeah.
You still see your screen? Okay, that's good. Because a lot of the times when I share my screen, it goes into full screen mode. And what's the way this class is going to go is I need you to have half of your screen available to see me demonstrating and the other half available for you to be able to do your work. So you're really going to be only using about half of your screen's worth during the class. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now I'm going to stop my share again. And the best thing you can do is make sure that just in case there's some full screen mode, when I start Zoom, go ahead and hit the escape key on your keyboard. The top left key is the escape key. So you're very far topmost. When you hit the escape key, then if you were in screen mode and full screen mode, it kind of disconnects from full screen. And then you need to grab the edge of the screen where you're seeing me and bring it side, make it occupy only a half or less of your screen, enough that you can see me. Now, Mary, for you too, you'll see a lot of people are going to sign in with 2 devices. So if you have 2 devices, like you have a laptop and an iPad, or you have an iPad and a desktop, or you have a laptop and another monitor, or a desktop and another monitor. So if you have any way to have 2 screens, then it's great to have me talking to you on one screen and showing you, it's not, my face doesn't matter. As soon as I start sharing my screen, you'll stop seeing my face a lot. And then the other monitor available for doing the work, right? So if you don't have that set up, then you have, which is fine, then you need to just divide the available screen in two. And try to have any other software in your computer that you have turned off. So if you have anything else running on your computer, maybe you're checking mail, maybe your internet, just close everything up. And if you're on a browser, close all the other tabs, because all of this process is going to take a lot of, power from your system. It's best not to have a lot of things hanging around. So on a Mac, just you can go to the dock and right click on any other app that's available that's on and just quit all those apps. So for example, I'm going to share my screen again here, and I'm going to share my entire desktop right now. And so I have a couple of other things running around here. If I go to my dock down here, you see how I have a little black dot under Acrobat. That means that I'm running Acrobat. If that little dot is there, it's tiny, it's hard to see, but then that means I need to quit that program. So I'm going to right click and quit Acrobat. And so, I'm going to actually quit Acrobat. Then you can go over here, and I have Excel. I'm going to keep it running because I need the roster for a minute, etc. So go down to any other thing that you have. I have my printer. I don't need to print. So quit, right click and quit all of your other apps. By the way, do you know how to right click perchance? Sometimes people on laptops don't know how to right click. Do you have are you using a mouse, or are you using just the laptop's
mouse
pad? You're using a mouse. Okay. And is it a Mac mouse? Like this magic mouse? Okay. So some people don't have the right click working. When you right click, does anything happen?
There is a option and show recent open.
Okay, so then you do have the right click working. Okay, so any option, other than Chrome, which you need, do a right click and then quit everything except for Zoom and your browser. Okay, and then that way it'll be easier. And same with you, Mary. Make sure to close down any unnecessary stuff. And now the part that tends to be the hardest for people is this whole see half of me and half of the other screen. So what I've recommended to people is that if you really find that one screen, maybe you have a MacBook Air, which is really small screen or something, you might want to, I've gone to thrift stores and bought some monitors and just connected them with a cable to my laptop, and there's your second monitor, for $20 or something. So anyway, let's see how it goes today, and then you can decide if you need some more space. Okay, so now I am going to take us to do VDI. VDI is to access the class software. So we're going to go ahead and click inside of the search, whichever Firefox or Google you're doing. And what you need to write, I'm going to put it here on the chat. You need to write vmview.sbcc.edu. And so I put it on the chat. What I put in the chat is where you need to go. And I'm going to do it up here again. vmview.sbcc.edu. And no matter what Chrome tries to send you to, what other options it tries to go to, ignore them all. Keep writing all the thing up to VDU, because none of the rest will work, especially the ones that Chrome suggests you. It'll take you to a different place. So just write this whole thing, vmview.sbcc.edu, and just keep going. Just ignore any other options or choices. Once you have that whole thing written down, then hit your return or enter key on your keyboard, and truly don't check on any of the Chrome choices, because it will not work, I assure you. Once you hit the enter or return key, this is the screen you need to go to. So once you're in this screen, please give me a little thumbs up that you got here. If you're not in this screen, and again, I'm testing the whole, when I'm sharing, giving me a thumbs up and stuff like that. because it's a bit harder to find all the tools when I'm sharing my screen. So I want to make sure that you have those available and handy. And Ratna, tell me where
Yes.
you're at. Like if you're there, fine.
Yeah,
If you're
there
not
is
there,
a
let me know.
screen launch native client and VMware Horizon.
Perfect. So
Horizon.
you're seeing the same thing I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. You're in the right spot then. Okay. So now on the right side, it's VMware Horizon HTML Access. For
Yes.
today, we're going to use this one. If you choose not to buy the programs, like you choose
Okay.
not to buy in the future, you can use this one, or you can then install this on your computer, but we're going to wait and decide if you really are going to be using VDI all the time. So that's what we're going to use today, which is this one here. So click on the right side where it says VMware Horizon HTML Access. That's the one we're going to go to. I went in there today and it doesn't like it when I come here twice in the same day.
So I have to put my username and
yeah. And mine is already memorized. You have to go in there and put in your entire, your pipeline username. So your pipeline username, if you know it, if not, I have it here available for you.
I think I have.
Which is just RP.
Yeah.
Done. Okay, and then that's all
I
you
have
need
a
to put in
screen
there.
Acrobat, Adobe,
then-
everything here, AutoCAD.
Yeah, but we're not going to use any of those. We're going to go to student desktop. None of that. That directly is not what we need at all. We need to click into student desktop.
Where is
And
that?
what's
Mine
that?
is,
I couldn't see student text. Oh yeah, on the top.
On the
Okay.
top, there's a choice for student desktop. Mary Rose. Mary, I'm gonna stop saying Mary Rose. Now it's just Mary.
mine
I
is
got it.
telling me I'm not entitled to use the system.
All right. Yeah. Did you put in your actual
Yeah, I did.
the MR Rose?
Yep.
Okay. So try that again. Lately BDI has been a little bit glitchy. I heard this week that there's been some glitchy moments for some strange reason.
Let me,
And put in
see.
the password. So notice that when you get here, after a while, this takes a while, it just popped up and I clicked on go much sooner than you did. Then you finally will be in a Windows computer. It's like you just took your car and drove all the way to school and opened up the school computer. That's what's happening here.
Oh,
You're in
mine
the
just
school's
continues to
Windows
tell me
computer.
I'm not entitled to use the system. I went back
right.
and it won't, now it doesn't
Um,
even take me back to a login. So I can't try and re-log in. It just tells me I
All
can't.
right, so it's a little bit buggy. I'm going to stop my share. Can you share your screen so that I can see if I can give you a hand for this? And if I can't really give you a hand because it's the bugginess, then you'll have to drop out and go for a second to the SBCC tech support to see if they can figure out if something's needed. So if you're here, Ratna, just hang out a minute while I.
Let me get back to Zoom. Come on, Zoom. Come up.
Mhm.
Little box. Share screen. That's what I'm getting.
Let me see. Okay, so yeah, this is.
I can go back to.
When you say okay, no, don't go back because that won't hurt. When you say okay,
that's what I get back to this.
Try, and it just did the same thing to you twice, 2 or 3 times by now.
Yeah.
So did you sign in already though?
I did sign in, yes. And that got me
Okay,
to I'm not entitled to use the system.
Plan B would be right now to erase your cookies for this screen and to try and to close it and try again.
How do I just close my cookies for this?
I believe we were in Firefox. I know it by heart for the others, and I do know. So let me remember in Firefox, go down to settings right there and go to privacy and security on the left side. yeah, the left, yeah, there. Cross cookies and data a little bit lower. Okay, well, there it is. So manage, so unless if you want to delete all of them, then just say clear data. But if you're not sure about that, then let's go to manage data. Okay, say clear. Yep. All right. Now close that tab. Don't go back into the one. Close the VMware Horizon tab. Unfortunately, you didn't get a chance to sign out. So go and open up a new one. Oh, no,
Nope.
because you closed that one, you actually stopped sharing. I was like, don't.
Okay, so I need to go back to,
Uh-huh.
okay, let me get back up. Because I closed the tab, I closed Firefox,
Yeah.
I've got to reload.
I
And it's
know.
telling me that it's already running, so come on, Firefox, don't do this to me.
Hi, Isabel. Nice to see you.
Hi, Diana.
How are
Nice to
you
see you too.
doing?
Hi,
Nice to
everyone.
see you. So I'm catching up,
I'm-
Mary and Ratna, onto VDI and all of that I know you're very comfortable with. So I'm helping them get set up. So meanwhile, just hang out for a little bit, give me a little hello on the chat. And then let me see, Mary, what's happening?
I'm back where I was.
Okay. All right. So then do you have Chrome or something else available to try it on something else? If not,
no.
Okay. So then here's what
I mean,
I'm gonna do.
I could change to a different computer, but then it wouldn't be updated. It wouldn't be an
No,
updated browser.
that's fine. So here's what I'm gonna tell you to do. I'm gonna send you right now. I'm putting it in the chat, but it doesn't help you much because if I put it in the chat, you can't do it. So I'm gonna email you this that I just put in the chat. And what this is a link to the student. Oh, today is Friday. Student tech support is not available on Fridays. It's Monday through Thursday. And I have I teach 8 hours on Friday and it's not available. Oh, that's a problem. That's gonna be a problem. Can you click again on the HTML access? Let's see. It lets you in until there and then it signed in. And the thing is that it's not letting you sign in again. I'm just trying to make sure if you signed in correctly to the VDI. When you say okay, where does it go? Does it go nowhere? It just
Gets me
takes you
back to
straight
here.
there.
And then if I go back to your access, then I just get to the error code again.
Okay, and then you've already deleted. Okay, so let's do the following. First of all, I know this sounds weird, but go back. It's just that I'm trying to see if we can sign out correctly from VDM, and it's not letting you. It's in this mode where it's still remembering you as having signed in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
no, I get it. That's where I was trying.
So I'm seeing two options. You seem to be very, very comfortable with computers. There's two options I'm going to tell you to do. First of all, go back and just close this. Oh, but no, don't close this tab without first opening another one, or you're going to drop out from me again. Open another tab. Now close the VMware Horizon tab. VMware, yeah. Go back and delete your cookies once again. Then I am going to ask you to go back to. Oh, you did drop out. Okay, then I'm going to ask you to go back and close Firefox, and then I'm going to ask you to restart your computer, and then join our class again. If then it doesn't work, then I'm going to ask you to actually download the Horizon version. You know how on the left side it says download here, Horizon, install that app, and then connect to us through there. It's just much more stable. Okay. Plan C. Plan C, you might need to watch today's class or use your old software, because you're going to see today's class, the old software is going to be good enough, because today I'm just going to be comparing all three softwares, explaining what we use where, so for today you're fine. And then you can have all next week to figure out how to get VDI to work with the tech support, because
Okay, so at this
Not-
point, you want me to just drop out and
Okay, so
re-sign in,
actually,
restart
hold
and
on, hold
restart?
on. Yes, but you know what? Can you scroll down? Because look in my email. No. Show that email. I wanted to show the same email that you were just in Outlook. Yeah. Can you scroll down, down, down? And notice that at the very end, I said, if you're able to use Zoom at Nate support, says we tech support session, drop in hours or 9 on Monday. If nothing else works, not today, because it is Friday, but next
Yep.
Monday at some time between 9:30 and 8 p.m., click on that link. And that'll take you to a Zoom session with student tech support and tell them that your VDI wasn't working and you tried everything. Okay.
Okay,
That said, wait, you do have Edge. Wait, you're on a PC and you
it's
have Edge.
old, I never use it and it doesn't have all the, I'd have to update it.
No, I mean, as long as, go ahead and try VDI on that before giving up on it. I don't know if it'll work, but give it a try. Meanwhile, I'm gonna be showing on the computer how to get to the cheap student version of Creative Cloud. Okay, so all right, so right now I
Yes.
am back to let me share my screen again. I am back to this main screen, which, see, now you understand why the first day I have people who
Yeah.
already have this join us later, right? Because otherwise
Yeah.
they're just sitting there going like, and this is only 2 of you guys. Sometimes I have 10 new people, right? And so
Oh,
everyone has a
wow.
different little issue. Yeah, so that's why we make some time for beginning. But after this, don't worry. After this, it's really easy. You just kind of
Yeah,
you
I
just
think
connect
so.
and life is good. All right, so I'm not sure if you're getting this little choice here. This is part of VMware having some issue. If you do, just say okay, it's fine. If you don't have
Okay.
it, that's fine. Are you getting something that says Google or Google Drive? Are you
Yeah,
getting
Google
a
Drive,
window?
sign in.
Okay. All right, so if you have that Google Drive, go ahead and sign in with your entire, this is important. You need to sign in. I don't watch what I'm doing for a second because I'm doing something different. I'm signing out. Okay, so I'm disconnecting my account. So what you need to do, I'm doing something to get the same spot you're in. Okay, so you're in the sign in with browser, okay?
Yeah.
And
So
Mary, if on the side, you're getting the same error code in Edge. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm not sure that if you're getting that with Edge and so here's why I wanted you to try that, because if it's the same error code, both in Edge and in Firefox, then there's probably something set up at the level of SBCC with your, because this isn't a Firefox issue, because 2 different browsers wouldn't give you that same error. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, no,
So
I
it's
get
not about
it.
the browser.
It's,
So I think you
it's a
definitely
tech
need-
support at SBCC.
It's a as tech support thing with your account, that somehow your account hasn't been enabled. I don't know, things happen. They have, 10,000 students or whatever now and then for someone they need to set it up. So so for now, just as I said, use the old software you have for today. You'll find it more than sufficient. Keep, and watch. And I'm gonna now show you and Ratna and Isabel,
Yes.
who's here, and Ed, how to get to the cheap student software which you can decide if you decide to upgrade. But first, let me get Ratna set up with Google Drive. So
Fine.
when you click on sign in with the browser, in
Yes.
this one, you need to use your entire pipeline email address, meaning your username and at pipeline.sbcc.edu. This one needs your entire thing. Okay.
Pipeline.
And
Yes.
sbcc.edu. And this you need to do each time we get in. You need to sign in to a new Google Drive, and I'll be showing you why in a little bit, but yeah, this needs to be happened each time. Then it'll say, make sure you downloaded. Yeah. Sign in.
So I go next.
Go next and then say sign in.
Oh, it is not taking. Ratna Pradhan, you need a dot or just Ratna Pradhan pipeline.spcc.edu. Did I make a mistake?
Just the pipeline one. Did you put in a personal email before? No.
No, it's a RP Pradhan. I need to put
RPP. It's RPP. It's two P's. RP Pradhan at pipeline.spcc.edu.
Oh, okay, I forget that. That's
yeah, at pipeline.spcc.edu.
now it's going. Yeah.
Okay, good. And then say
sign in.
Yes. Sign in.
Sources.
Keep going. Say yes.
Yeah. It
and then
shows sources.
So I don't know. Oh, it tries to show you. I believe it tries to show you a big box where it's trying to teach you about it, right? If
yeah,
so, you can click. Why don't you share your screen? Because I'm not sure which
really?
window it's asking you. Share your screen with me again, and then I can help you catch up. So basically, go to the big old share screen button, and then the second share on the right side.
So screen.
Okay, did you find the share screen button?
Yeah, I did, but.
And then you need to do the second button on the right side that says share, like you had done before. So
where should I go?
Okay, so go back, it's on your computer, right? And the big green button that you did this with me before click on that one. Once you click on that one, on the right side, there's a second button that says share, and that'll share your desktop.
Oh, actually, I'm using iPhone and.
Yeah, no, that's why you can't share your iPhone. I need you to share from the computer that you are doing the work on. Okay, I saw you approaching, and yeah, that's the iPhone. I need you to go to
I have to go to right. Okay. Share screen.
Yeah, share screen, and then
desktop,
once again,
right?
share. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. Okay, so now it says you've signed into Google Drive. Sign in with Pradhan or continue with a new account. So, but it does say that you have signed in. Go to the bottom and say okay, where it says can't sign into account. And now let's go, can't preload. Wow. So just say disconnect account. Down there, say disconnect account. Okay. Now close that window that's in front of us that says authentication process.
Okay, I close.
Yeah, close that one. And now let's go and see if we can get you back to Google Drive. Okay, so go with your mouse all the way to the bottom again, where it says your name, it says user RPP Pradhan. Go all the way to the bottom right with your mouse. Bottom right, keep going. Okay, now of those little black things, now move to the left past the date a little bit more to that little triangle that's pointing up. Keep going to the left, keep going to the left. To the first little thing you see, which is like a little upwards triangle, that one, click on that one. Okay, now on the right side, there's a little Google icon, right of those six.
This one?
Nope, to the right, and the second one down from the right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're there. You were in the right place. You were in the right place.
Oh, really?
But it's that one. Yeah. So
which one?
Stop. The second row. Right, second row, right, that one, the Google one. Yes, perfect. Click on that. Okay, now sign in. And let's try this one again. RP Predans is all correctly written. So yeah, try that one. And then say sign in at the bottom. All right. It's
You
oh
did
my
still
God,
say.
can't sign in with the account. What is happening today with VDI? This is, let me do another screenshot. This is driving me crazy. How can I've never had these many problems. Isabel, are you having problems with yours? Oh, here comes Dorothy. I don't know how long she's been waiting.
No, I just signed in. I just signed
Wow,
in.
because this is two people, Mary and Ratna, both of them having issues.
No, I think I'm in.
That's okay. For today, it doesn't matter. Because again, I'll show you things, but this is bizarre. Okay, so go ahead and say okay again. And that's fine. I won't have you guys download materials today. So go ahead and yeah, ignore that. Close that window in front of us again. Yeah. So it's okay. It really doesn't matter for today, but it certainly matters for the future. So I'm gonna have to I'm gonna stop your sharing right now. I'm gonna have to ask you to go also to tech support on Monday, if by the end of today we still can't get you into the Google Drive. Okay. That said, I'm gonna check in on Google Drive a little bit later, directly, not through VDI, and see if you can get in. So by the way, everyone else is popping in right now because we're almost at 10 when I told everyone else to join us. So I'm letting people in. Yeah, we've got this right now. We had two people here trying to sign in, two people who've joined us today for the first time, Ratna and Mary, and neither one of them can get in. Ratna got into VDI, Mary can't get into VDI, and Ratna can't get into Google Drive. And on Fridays, there's no support. Yeah, I've had them clear their cookies. I guess I could clear their cache. Ed is writing in the code. I don't know on Firefox how to have you clear your cache. Mary did both. She said she did both because she's on Firefox. So yeah, I don't know what's happening. I do know that I've had that people on tech support have been having issues with students and people, me. I couldn't connect to VDI yesterday. I've been having issues with VDI, so I don't know what's wrong. It's very disconcerting, but anyway, hi everyone. Hello.
Hi.
Everyone else who's joining us. Nice to see you guys. So it's not yet 10. So for the people who are joining us today, you guys are early, not early, but a little bit early. So we've got a few more minutes. So what I'm going to do is ask you all, most of the people who will be showing up next are people who know me. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do a little hello and welcome to, because right now I've just been talking with Ratna and Mary Rose trying to get them on, but I haven't really done any real introduction to the class yet. So welcome to Digital Design Techniques. My name is Diana, and I say Diana because I'm saying it in Spanish because I'm from Argentina. I came eons ago to go to college, and here I've been. Since then, I came to go to Brooks in Santa Barbara. Brooks was one of the best photography schools. I had learned design at the university in Argentina. And so basically graphic design and photography have been what I've been doing the rest of my life. But I also started teaching here at City College as soon as I graduated, because I was also teaching in Argentina and at Brooks in the computer labs. And one thing led to another. And I have always been teaching, and I've been teaching now for, 25 years ever since. And one of the things that I enjoy teaching the most is all of the graphic digital programs. So, Photoshop God, I think I've been teaching Photoshop nonstop since that time, and using all of these programs since that time. Although at that point I was using Quark instead of InDesign and stuff like that. But anyway, hi Dylan, nice to meet you. Let's, how are you doing? There you go. So everyone who's joining us right now, please go to the chat and give a little hello so that your name appears on the chat for me. Also, Anne, right there, it says Anne's PC. Can you please put your last name on your little box? So I have your last name showing up and I'm looking at the roster. And actually, I don't see an Anne on the roster. Anne, what's your last name? Oh, Higgins. You want to be called Anne, but you're, okay, I see your preferred name. Is that possible? Are you Higgins? No.
And lunch.
Yeah, and one. Oh, that's because you're not still in the, you got put in last night. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to change your name, but you guys, you can hover over your little window where you see your face and you can click on 3 little dots that appear and you can rename. There we go. And so now I've renamed you just to put your last name on it. And there you go. It's just that I was using I hadn't yet upgraded, updated my roster because you got added last night very late. So cool. There we go. All right. So hi Joyce. Hi Dorothy and Alan. So we have a couple of more people who are still going to join us, but I wanted to ask for a minute here, Dylan, since this is the first time Dylan is first name or Sherman's first name?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sherman.
since you changed it to Sherman and suddenly I was thrown for a second. Yeah, you had written Dylan.
Yep, I did.
So yeah, I need your first and last name, whatever you want to be called is fine, but I just can't have only your first name, which is why I corrected Anne's. Just so that I can because then on the report that comes down, I have to be able to pair it with a roster. All right. So today's class, Digital Design Techniques, is a class where we get to combine a variety of applications to figure out how to create a final piece to go for print or to go to the web, which tend to be the 2 main outlets that we have for anything we do that has to do with marketing or design or art or whatever it may be. So some of you guys have done some of this before, and some of you have done it in many different applications. The applications that we're going to be using are the ones that are the professional standard, which are the Adobe programs. And we're going to be using Photoshop,
Right.
Illustrator, and InDesign as our 3 main programs, and Bridge. We're going to be using Bridge, which many of you guys don't know or have never used Bridge. And it's going to be, it's going to be what's going to bridge all 3 of our other programs with respect to how we access our material, how we catalog, use, and work with the materials through Bridge. So quite a few of you guys have been in some of my Photoshop classes. A few of you have been also in my Illustrator classes. And here and there, 1 of you or 2 of you might have also taken this Digital Design Techniques class a while ago and might have a need for some refreshers, or sometimes people take the class again when they're in the middle of a project and they help finish a project, right? So first of all, I want to get a little bit of feedback from you. Of these 3 programs that I mentioned, 4 programs that I mentioned, Bridge, Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, which have you used? And I'm going to have you guys with a series of questions and have you guys raise your hands to this or to that. Which have you used, how much you do or don't know about them. And it's okay to be a complete beginner or to be pretty advanced in one of them and not the others. So wherever you're at, I just kind of need to know. Okay. And the first thing I need to know is how many, okay. First thing you need to know is the way that we're going to answer my questions is going to the reactions button. And in the reactions button, I don't want thumbs up because thumbs up disappear, or clapping hands, they disappear in 3 seconds. I want only people to use the raise hand, the yes, which is the green check mark, or the no, which is the red check mark. And between these three, then I can see where people are at. Okay. So if I say, if you use Photoshop, raise your hand. If you use Illustrator, yeah, say yes, and that kind of stuff, then I need you to go to those 3 buttons. All right. So first of all, how many of you have ever used any of these programs whatsoever? Any of the ones that I've mentioned, give me a raised hand. And if you have never used any, give me a no, which is the red X. Okay. And it's okay. Don't worry. Don't let this dissuade you right now. We're fine.
Yeah.
It's gonna work just fine. And I know a bunch of you guys, so I know your experience. I don't know Dylan. So okay, so you've used some of this material before. Okay, so now I'm gonna clear your feedback, and now I'm gonna be more specific. How many of you have used Photoshop? It tends to be the first one that people sign into. So if you've used Photoshop, give me a raised hand. Okay. Now, for those of you who've used Photoshop, if you feel that you are very competent with Photoshop, very comfortable, do pretty much whatever you want, even if it's not really advanced, but you know, you're comfy with it, then give me a yes. So change your choice to a yes. I am like totally proficient in Photoshop kind of people. All right. Hi, by the way, I'm wondering, the person who just joined us who says Jennifer Parsons, I doubt you are Jennifer Parsons, and I think I know your face. Can you change the name of your, or tell me and I'll change your name. Tell me your name and I can't hear you. Your sound is off. I'm having a hard time placing your face.
I'm John.
What's that?
Parsons.
You're John Parsons.
On my
Okay.
wife's laptop because my modem crapped.
Oh, that's fine. So let me just change that to John Parsons. There we go. Perfect. So now I have your name there. So welcome to our class. And I'm just getting a feeling for how many people are more or less comfortable with which of the programs that we're going to be using. So right now I have a question out there, which is, have you used Photoshop before? If so, raise your hand. And if you have used it and you feel really comfy, like, you know, you pretty much can do whatever you think you need to do in Photoshop, then give me a yes. And I see, okay, raised hand. By the way, when you can you see at the bottom, John, all of the little icons that you have to answer? There's one called reactions, and that's where the raised hand, the yes and the no appear. Okay, now if you have an old Zoom, they might not be there, and so if you do see them, then give me a little raised hand from the reactions buttons. If not, I need to show you where else to find those raised hands. Okay, good, you found them. Perfect. Okay. All right. So we have a couple people who, yes, I know of you to be very good at Photoshop, and you are right. You all said yes. Those of you who I don't know right now, so mainly Dylan and Mary, can you give me a slight idea of your experience? Like kind of beginner, yeah, I use it, but I don't know much. Or Mary already said she used it in the past, and she has the very old versions. So Dylan, what's your experience with Photoshop?
I've used Photoshop before in the past, mostly in a couple classes here. I've even learned it from a book that I got, which has all the simple steps here.
Okay.
And I
so
even and yes, used them for a couple projects here, and I have some posted on my website actually.
Okay.
And I
so
those.
You mentioned a couple of classes here. So classes, a Photoshop class here with us, maybe with Bruce or
no, in Ventura.
Oh, in
Ventura.
Ventura. Okay, got it. Just because I hadn't seen you in my classes, and so there's only 2 of us who teach it here, so I just wanted to confirm. Okay, All right, so perfect. The next thing I want to know, Mary, unless you have something else to say, you've kind of given me a little bit of your background, but if you are in the middle of a project that you're up to something, like sometimes someone's making a book or creating marketing materials for their business or putting things on their website or stuff like that, please let me know, because the best way for me to help you is if I know what you're up to, because then I can go, oh, but for you who are doing this, do it this way. For you who are doing that, do it that way. Like I can, give you background on the kind of things that you're working on, but we won't be bringing personal personal files to class. We'll be working on class files for everyone to be at the same page. But I will be asking you to then practice on your own things and then bring those to show us what you've done on your own material, right? But for the things that we do, we're always going to be following with the same material. Otherwise, it's impossible to figure out where people are, online in the middle of this process. So, okay, great. So I'm going to clear your answers. That gives me a good idea on Photoshop. Now, the next question is Illustrator. How many of you guys have used Illustrator? If you've used it, give me a raised hand. If you're comfortable in it, give me a yes. And if you've never used it, give me a no, because now we might have a few more people with a no. So a thumbs up won't stay, Sherman. So it's either a hands up or a yes, or a no. Okay.
I don't have the hands up.
You don't have the raised hands available?
No.
All right. So then you probably have an older version of Zoom. So head over to the button that says participants. So do you see the participants button?
Yep.
Click on the participants button, and at the bottom of that one, there's a little blue hand, and that's the raised hand. Go to the bottom of the participants, and then there's some icons there. Did you find it there?
Nope.
No, then you must have it on the reactions. Go to the reactions, and the first choice, the moment you look up, it's a long at the bottom that says raise hand.
Okay, let's see. I have wave on. Nope. Wait.
All right.
Oh.
So reactions, the bottom choice. Yeah. Well, nope. That's two hands. That's not it either. Doesn't matter right now. Just give me a. I'll know that you're missing it, but yeah, you're going to need it for later. But right now, let me move on a little bit to check out. Okay, so Joyce, yes, you've taken my Illustrator class. I know that 2 or 3 people have never done Illustrator, and others have maybe taken the class once or twice and have some experience with it. Okay, cool. I'm Mary. There we go. Yes. Okay, so now I'm clearing your feedback, and now on to InDesign. This is the one that the least amount of people have experience with, unless you've taken this class where it's combined. So how many of you, if you've used InDesign, give me a little raised hand. If you've never used it, give me a no. If you're really comfortable with it, give me a yes.
No.
Okay. Nope, that's the big old red no. So go down to the reactions again, John, and then there's a big X to say no. So Dylan, when you go to the reactions,
I did.
You don't see the raised hand. Oh, there we go. Now you found it. Okay, great.
I have used.
All right.
More.
You have used InDesign a bit more,
but only a little bit of it.
All right. So there's as I ask, it kind of goes down the list, and then InDesign is the one that less people have used. So the way these things, the last question I have is about Bridge. I know that if you've been in my class before, you've used Bridge. So just a quick gander to Dylan or Mary, and I know Ratna hasn't used it. So Dylan and Mary has used Bridge at all?
Yep.
Yes. Nope.
But it's been a long time. I'm here because it's been a long time.
For all of your material, yeah. And you're very comfy with computers too, I can see. And so clearly it's just about updating all those skills, and the programs have changed. The last time that it was 2012, I believe, the last version CS, not CS6, yeah, CS6 Photoshop
I think I was before
Creative
that, so.
Suite, and you might even have a CS5 or a CS4, who knows?
I think
So,
I'm
yeah, there's-
CS5, so
Okay,
yeah, and
yeah.
I still use it, but I need to update.
it's
my life.
fine. It's fine. There's for many situations, CS5 and CS6 are still completely useful, very useful. The thing is, put yourself, everyone, into perspective of 2012, if you can, where or CS5 2010, 2009, and think about how much has happened in the world over those all of these years. Basically, right now we have everything. Before, all you would do would be for print, and if anything went to the web, it was like a personal website that we used to have at those times. I don't know, it was so different. No constant use of phones to do everything. Phones were still kind of phones, and yes, we could kind of get the internet, but it wasn't like now. So the big difference with the old versions of all of these programs and the Creative Cloud, which is what we're going to be using, is that it's all geared to be used for interactivity, for the web, for being able to create all this material that we need now for screens, whereas before it didn't. So if you have any old version, it works very well still for anything that has to do with print. It doesn't have a lot of the new bells and whistles, and the newest bells and whistles just came out yesterday. Adobe Max is a big conference where Adobe launches all the new changes and all the new versions. And the last few days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, was Adobe Max this year. I tried to attend as much as I could, but I'm teaching so much. But they just announced all the new changes and all the new versions of things. And there's some really cool bells and whistles that you don't have if you have the old versions. But the moment you sign in after 2012, if you buy the Creative Cloud subscription, then the applications just they will let you know that there's an update available, and you can choose to update or not, but you basically can always have the latest versions. Having the latest versions implies that you always have to learn the new things, the changes, right? So here in school, usually we're one version behind the latest version because the newest version has to be tested. So maybe by January they might switch to the 2021, but for certain right now we're still in the 2021 versus not the 2022, which is the one that just came out. So what we're going to do is we're going to be seeing. Yes. Oh, it's mentioning that you could still register and see a lot of the sessions from Adobe Max will be something you can replay. But if you are new to a lot of this stuff, there's only a few beginner courses, and there are some good beginner courses, but for the most part, a lot of what happened in Adobe Max, this conference, is more advanced probably. So I'll let you have a whole year. So after this class is done, and after you take a few more classes, you might want to go in and see a lot of the sessions that they recorded. That's what Ed's saying in the chat. And let me write over here, and it's Adobe Max, because you guys as students have access to Adobe as students. You have access to all of this material. Okay. Oh, they already switched to 2022. Really? And saying that she connected and they're having the 2022 version. Well, that's interesting. So I'm going to have to, we're going to check and see. All right. So for those of you who joined us a bit earlier, I tried to connect you to VDI, but right now what I'm going to show you, I'm going to share my screen, is something that you all need to know, is how to get this cheap version of the program that I'm talking about. So we're going to go to, and I'm going to write it in the chat. Hold on. So I'm writing in the chat this website, and now I'm going to write it here in the website. Then collegebuys.org, one word, and it's .org, not .com, not .edu. It's collegebuys.org. And go ahead and in this place, it's California Community Colleges, where you can get a really, really good price. So you need to identify yourself as what you are. So in your case, you would go to say that you're a student. You'd have to tell them where, and then submit. And then when you go buy, so first you choose what you're going to buy. And then once you do go purchase, you need to give them your pipeline username to be able to get the student price. Okay. So in this case, here's the Creative Cloud. Okay. And by the way, don't bother buying Microsoft 365 because as a student, you get it for free. So don't buy Microsoft Office 365 from here. But we do not get for free the Creative Cloud. So you do need to buy it if you want it for free or use it through VDI. So I just went to the Creative Cloud. You need to tell them which college you go to. So in this case, Santa Barbara City College. Okay. And then it gives you the choice. And it used to be that you could buy a year for $80 or 6 months for $39. Now you can only buy 6 months for $39. So you select 6 months and it's $39.99, $40. Okay. Now, when you have to buy, it says enter the required edu email address, and this is your entire pipeline email. And so I'm going to write it in the chat, username at pipeline.sbcc.edu. That is your entire edu email address that you need to write to put in there. Now, this is the cheapest. If you go to adobe.com and sign in as a student, it's $20 a month. So this is still way cheaper. All right. And you're going to be able to stay using this you can use this account not only for 6 months, but as long as you keep taking a free City College class, you can keep signing in as a student and keep getting the student price. Okay. So in that sense, it's not hard because we have so many. You can even take a one-day workshop, or you can take another one of, the longer classes. You don't need to be a credit student to be able to be here and get these prices. Now, the only thing that really, you have to, it's kind of cumbersome in that you have to keep telling them again and again where you're from. That's fine. But once you do that and you actually pay, right? And you actually pay, it's not like immediately you go and download and install. It takes a little bit longer than that. They need to check in that you're a student. There's stuff that happens, and then they send you an email, and the email has very specific instructions of how to process. And the whole thing you need to remember, they'll send it to your pipeline email address, not to your personal email. So if you're waiting for it in your personal, it won't show up because you're signing in as a pipeline email. So go to your pipeline email. If you don't know how to do that, I can show you that a bit at the end of class. But then once you get it, follow their instructions to install, which is not the same as going to adobe.com and download. It's a little bit different, but once you're all set up, when it asks you if you use this as a school, personal school account, follow all through saying that you're a City College student and you should have no problem. Okay. Now, people get into problems when they start putting in their own Gmail or their own this or own that. So just make sure that you use this as the student information. Now, if you don't want to do this and you don't want to buy it, or you're just testing this out, so why would you buy it yet? Then what you can do is you can go to VDI and enter through VDI, which is Versatile Interface. It's like you're driving to school and use the school software from there. So everyone who joined us at 9 a.m., I've been helping them access VDI. The only person I don't know, Dylan, do you have the applications?
Which ones?
Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign,
Oh, yeah.
Bridge.
Yeah, I have those.
You have them? Okay,
Yep.
so then everyone else who doesn't need to use VDI can use their own applications. Those of you who don't have it can use it on VDI. And I know you guys are all set up. Everyone who's here today is all set up already, except for Mary, who the VDI is not connecting, but for now you can use the old applications that you have. Okay. Let me just say again that in the email, the welcome email that I sent you, the very last thing before I sign off, I say in that long email at the very end, right before, okay, see you guys in. The last thing I give you is a link to Santa Barbara City College student tech support Zoom link. So if you guys run into any kind of problems with your applications, with VDI, right, applications, or with your pipeline account, which right now we had an issue with VDI and pipeline account with the people who joined us today, then you need to go to them, and they're open every day of the week, all day long until 8 p.m., except for Fridays. So you have to wait until Monday, but Monday through Thursday, all day long, you can connect with them if for some reason you're not able to get, because all the assignments that I'm going to give you, all the files are going to be in pipeline. And if you can't get to pipeline, then you're going to need to get their support. Okay, so now everyone go to a browser, and I'm going to show you how to get to the class files and handouts, because it changed. And I know that many of you guys are here know how to do it, but there's one quick thing that changed. Okay, so now Ratna, if you want, you can
Yes.
do it inside of the VDI that you already have set up, or you can do this on a separate browser, tab. It does not matter. You don't need to be inside of VDI to access the class handouts, is what I'm trying to say. For VDI is to access the actual applications. But now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you really quickly. We're going to go to SBCC, bcc.edu. Most of you guys know how to get this, but again and again, people who've taken my classes still don't remember how to get to the class recordings. So once you get to SBCC, click on Pipeline and sign into Pipeline with your username. So once you're inside of Pipeline, I'll wait you're here for a minute. I want you guys to do this with me, because then otherwise you might not remember how to do this. This is the part that changed. So for some of you guys who haven't taken classes this semester yet, it used to be that up here it said student non-credit, but there's no more student non-credit button. There's only a student button. Okay, so from the student button, go down to student resources. This is the only change. It's minor, but it did trip a bunch of people up, because before you click student non-credit and you got there. Now you have to go to student resources. Now we're in the same space. This is the exact same spot as we were before when you went to student non-credit. And over here on the far right, you see Google Drive. Now, for those of you who I just mentioned that you can get Microsoft Office for free, this is just an extra. You do it by going down to that. But anyway, we're not going there right now. I'm just showing it to you. The only other thing I want to show you here is LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn Learning is a site that has tremendous amounts of tutorials. Again, if you try to go there on your own, it's really expensive a month for all kinds of tutorials and stuff like that. But if you go through Pipeline like this, if you just click from here into LinkedIn Learning, then you can access for free, but pay attention to the instructions. But each time, if you do own a LinkedIn account, each time is asked you to connect to LinkedIn, you have to say continue without LinkedIn. Do not connect this account. I have a video that I put in my handouts showing you how to connect to LinkedIn, but be sure to not connect to your personal account or you will be charged. So always kind of go, no, I don't have an account. I don't have an account. And then you'll sign in as a student. And then you can access all the tutorials, all the exercises, all the material for free. And I highly suggest that you do that. They have some really good stuff. That said, if you're a very beginner, even the very beginner things might be a bit complicated. So again, you might want to try to access them after having taken some of the basic material, and then you can keep learning that way. All right, so right now what I want us to go is to Google Drive. So click on Google Drive.
Let you know, I already have the Adobe Suite for all the programs.
That's great. This is not taking you to Adobe Suite. This is taking you to the class files, class
Oh.
handouts. So that's great. If you have the Adobe Suite, then you don't have to use VDI, but this is not related to that. This is just class handouts out. And once you get here into Google Drive, if you've never been into your pipeline Google Drive, it might say welcome and that kind of thing for those of you who are new to this. Let's head over on the left side where you see my mouse, click on shared drives. And I'm going to put a little color on the tip of my mouse so you can see my mouse better. Click on shared drives, and here you should see, if nothing else, you might see more things, but if nothing else, you should see a folder called Digital Design Techniques. Do you see that? So double click that folder to get in. And now we are here. This is the place where you can see all of the class files, which right now are not redrawing. So I don't know why, but it's normally you would see the icons. Is everyone seeing them like me or just me?
No, they're not there yet.
I have them.
Oh, that's interesting. Mary, finally you have. There's one thing
I have
you do
nothing else, but I have them. I do
How funny.
exist in the system.
So for some strange reason, the icons aren't turning into the files. Just that said, the files are still there. Like if I double click on it, you would see the accommodations for students with disabilities and then back off. So they are there, but the icon isn't redrawing to show you the preview. It's not important. The files are there, but yeah, but it's interesting. Anyway, so this is how you would do this. They will redraw and you will see a little preview. This is, for example, where I'm showing you how to purchase the college buys. Oh, couldn't preview the file. Wow, here I'm telling you no problem, but I don't. I think the school must be going through some issues because there's stuff happening. The system must be going through some issues. This, once they figure out what's wrong, it'll work. The most important one that I want to show you then, we'll handle the rest later, is this one, the top right, top left. It says Zoom class recording links. Double click on that one. If you're not here, if I've lost you because some of you guys haven't done this before and I'm going too fast or something like that, please tell me where you are and I'll help you catch up. Okay, but basically, well, the steps that we followed is you go to the student resources, hit Google Drive, and once you get Google Drive, you go to shared drives, and from shared drives, Digital Design Techniques. Okay, and then this Zoom link is a couple of links that really are important for you to practice with. This link tells you to how to use VDI. So people who were just new to VDI, Ratna, maybe Mary, I think the rest of you know how to get there during this week. Review this video a few times and practice getting onto VDI, and
Okay.
Mary get help from City College to get onto VDI. That way you can use the applications. And then this next one here shows you how to download the class files. Now, I don't want you to download the class files yet, so hold on that. And this is the video showing you how to do exactly what we did right now. Now, this is what matters. Day one, this is a sample video, so this is not the video from today, but this class is being recorded, and of the class recording will be available to you right here a day after the class is over. So on Fridays, I teach this class. I go and straight into another class. I teach until 4 p.m. And then I have to process all the videos and all the stuff. So basically by Saturday morning, you should see a link here that has the recording for the Friday class. And you'll click on it and you'll click again and it'll take you to YouTube where you'll see me giving you the entire class again. So what matters about why I'm showing you this, and actually let me click on that one again, is because these classes are as long as, so this last time I taught this, and it would seem that this is the link in February, this is a 3-hour class. And you can see here it says 253. Our class today is even longer. Ours is almost 4 hours. So it's the entire class recording. Okay, guys, it's the entire day. So what you need to do is, as I'm speaking during the day, during the class, you look at the time and you go, "Ooh, she just said something that I would love to see again. I would love to revisit this." So you look at the time and say, for example, "Oh, it's 10:30 right now." So at 10:30, she spoke about, I don't know, some, masking. So you write down, you take a note of that. And so then when you come in here, the class starts at 9:30. Around 10:30 that day, I talked about masking. And then that an hour and a half in, right? So you just move into about an hour and a half in and you go somewhere around here, she's talking about masking. So you click in there and then you listen to the class from that part. Does that make sense? Because there's no index. This is my entire class from beginning to end. So if you want to sit through the entire class to listen to one thing again, that's going to be hard. So try to get an idea. She talked about this at the beginning of the class, the end of the class, the beginning, and then you can move around. Okay. So I just wanted to show you that because that's the little, now you know that I'm at 1.5 hours in to our class, and that's whatever I'm talking about. And that you might notice that most of the time I'm, okay, stop this class. So that's what that's going to be. Now this will be the right link. So now that I've shown you this, I'm actually going to delete this link so that you guys don't make a mistake of clicking on it. And as of tomorrow morning or tonight, you will have a link for today's class. Now, why does this matter? Because we're online. I want to make sure that if you do miss a class or have to leave early or have to start late or something like that, that you use these links to review what you missed, so that it's hard enough when people miss a class, but if you miss a 4-hour class or even 2 hours of a 4-hour class, by the next week, it would be very hard for you to be part of the class unless you try to catch up during the week with that recording. Does that make sense? That's the good news of these Zoom classes, that you can watch the recordings, right? Versus if you're in person and you miss a class, you just missed it, right? So take advantage of that and use this link correctly, meaning consistently, to refresh things, to practice, and to get ourselves caught up with things that you actually missed. What you can't do is not attend the class and just watch the recordings. If you do that, this class is part of a certificate. It's a certificate that you get graded. If you're interested in the certificate, if you're taking this for the certificate, you would not be able to get a pass. Now, many of you guys don't care about the certificate. All you care about is learning. And so you go, whatever, I'll still miss the class. I need to travel to New York, whatever. I'll just watch the recording. That's fine. But the problem then becomes more from the school's perspective. If you're not in the Zoom, you're not considered as being present. So I can't give you attendance. I can't say you were present. And then the school doesn't get reimbursed and the college doesn't get the money from the state. La, da, 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 da. Basically, we don't get money. We can't offer free classes. So if you have to miss a class, if you have to miss 4 hours, entire 4 hours, at least try to connect through Zoom from wherever you're at, because you're traveling in New York, connect to the Zoom, so that if you are present in the Zoom, even for a short time, and you watch the recording, then I'm happy to say that you've attended because you've learned the lesson. But if you just watch the recording and don't show up in the Zoom at all, I can't give you attendance, in which case we miss out on being reimbursed for your attendance, okay? So my request is do your best to always connect in one way or another to the class and then catch up with the recording if necessary. All right, that's all I have to say for that. I'm going to head back to VDI, the tab where about 5 of you guys are attending school using the VDI. and we're going to start opening our applications. There's one more thing for people who are new to VDI today, which many of you guys are in VDI, but I think the only person on VDI today for the first time is Ratna. You need to sign into the Creative Cloud still. So,
Creative Clouds. How to
when,
sign in?
yeah, I'm going to show you. So go back to the same window and you're going to open up this little icon on the bottom left, the Windows icon. And everyone, let's start opening your applications. We're going to start by opening up Photoshop. And we're gonna do bridge and like scroll down until you see the Adobe Photoshop 2021. This one's still showing 2021, and you said it opened 2022, but oh, you mean Anne on your own version, but in school we still are on 2021. So click on Adobe Photoshop 2021. And say that again.
My own version.
Your own version, yeah. So you must have it set up to auto update. So those of you on the Creative Cloud with your own application, if you have it set up for auto update, then because all of the applications just got a new version, when you open Photoshop, it will have updated to 2022. I don't necessarily recommend that. Sometimes versions are a bit buggy and you might want to wait a little bit. I would take auto update off and update when you're ready to update. But if you have it on auto update today, when you open Illustrator, Photoshop, and Design, it will always be the new version, which will be slightly different from my version, which is fine. Just remember that if you don't see something in the same place or something like that, it's mainly added capabilities. It's not like they've taken too much away from everything I've seen. Anyway, my Photoshop opened up, but Radna, you probably
Yes.
got a message saying you need to sign into the Creative Cloud.
Creative
so to
Cloud.
do, did it say something like that?
How should I open it? I opened.
Yeah, so let's do this. I'm going to stop my share. I'm going to have you share your screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send everyone off to break. It's break time. I know those of you who joined us at 10 are like, what do you mean it's already break? Yeah, but for some people, we've been here already since 9. So this class is long. We're going to take our break at around this time every day. And I'm going to help Ratna make sure he gets signed in. And so usually our break is a 15 minutes break for this, for our class. So we're going to break for 15 minutes, but I also want to help Ratna a little bit. So we're going to take a couple more minutes than that. So we'll assume that it's 10:45 instead of 10:43, and we'll be back at 11. Okay. Today, just because I'm needing a few more minutes. So we'll see you. I wrote break until 11 a.m. You don't need to disconnect or anything. I'll mute everyone. And I'll see you guys at 11, and then we'll just jump into the applications. All right. So Ratna, can you share your screen so that I can help you sign in? So remember, yeah, perfect. Okay. So now go back to the tab that's says VMware Horizon. So go up to you have the go yeah, that one. Click on VMware Horizon. Yeah, right there. Oh, it's not going. Oh, you have Zoom things in the way. Yeah. You need to grab those Zoom windows. You can grab it from the black part and drag them out of the way a little bit. Don't click on the links, but click on, yeah, click on the
Right.
you probably are seeing the strip or something like that. Yeah. Or go ahead and go to Chrome, go to the Chrome app. Yeah, click on that one and see if you can click on the window. Did it pop up in front of the Zoom? No.
No.
Yeah, so you need to move your Zoom out of the way. You don't see the tab that I'm asking you because you have the Zoom windows. So, and I can't see the Zoom windows. That's not going to help. So go up to, you probably have something there with the photos of us or something like that. Is that what you have? You have a little bar. I need you to go to tab, but you were about to click on it, but Zoom is in the way. And those who are watching, you can't see that. So you have to, yeah, over there you have like a black, yeah, click on that and drag it over a little bit to get out of the way, because you need to click on the tab that says VMware Horizon. And you probably have Zoom boxes in the way.
Oh,
That one, right, okay, move down a little bit, just right under that. That's what you need to click. But yeah, I know you have your Zoom things there. Can you grab that Zoom box and move it out of the way for a little bit, or grab Chrome and make it smaller? Oh, this is the part that's hard. Let me do this. Let me request remote control. Do you see a request there from me that says, yeah, say, go ahead, and then now go open system preferences? No. It's there. Click on their link of system preferences. Just click on that link. Yeah. And then over here, you need to unlock again, like you did earlier. Go to the bottom left and unlock. Bottom left, there's a lock. Bottom. Yeah, click on that and put in your password. And say unlock. Okay. Oh, try your password again. Okay. Oh, I don't know what you're doing with your password. This is your computer password, not pipeline, huh? The thing that you open when you open your computer. Maybe you have caps lock on. Make sure you don't have your caps lock. Do you have a caps lock, or do you have something touching your keyboard? Because you did this before, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you seem to have your caps. It's possible your caps lock might be pressed down, and so you're doing things with your upper case. You might need to. There we go. Okay, and now click on that box next to Zoom. Yeah, right there. Okay, perfect. Now you can close the system preferences window.
Close now?
Yeah, you can close it now. Yeah, and now when I'm gonna, okay, so now I'm using so now don't move your mouse. And I am gonna click on your computer for you, okay? So here's the tab that I needed you to click. I don't have the Zoom windows in the way, so I'm able to do this for you. So here's where we are. We're in VMware Horizon. This is always your VDI. So then go down to this little icon right there, move your mouse now, and I'm gonna stop my mouse and click on that one there. Move your mouse and click down here on this icon that says start. Yeah, because you're a PC, you're a Mac person, so we're using this on a PC. So this part you need to learn. Now scroll down like that here and wait until you find Adobe Photoshop. So move your mouse over to this thing and then just to these words. Yeah, and now scroll a little bit until you get to the P, which is just a little bit down. Yeah, I know. Okay, there it is, Photoshop. So one up, you just passed it, go one up. And double click on that. Cool. And now you've got Photoshop open, or it'll start opening, but it's gonna ask you, because it's your first time ever, it's gonna ask you to sign into the Creative Cloud. So that's why I'm waiting for that message to come up. When it opens up, which it's opening, the first time you access, it'll actually, so give it a second, it's going to come up with a question for you for the Creative Cloud. So a minute. There it is. It's not responding. Okay, end the process. There, okay. So this is the Creative Cloud sign in. Okay, now here you need to put in your whole pipeline username, pipeline@sbcc.edu again. Pipeline.sbcc.edu. Okay, now say continue. Click on continue. No, not Apple. Yeah, continue. And it'll have you sign into. Okay,
Yeah, question.
cool. So now you're open. All right, great. So now let's go on a break and I'll see you all at 11. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna stop my screen. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, the way more work. You took in a lecture, but I got scared. राति चाहिँ तल जाने रहेछ अनि माथि जाने रहेछ. That's what I noticed because you just tall got too, so I was like, oh shit. अहिले चाहिँ मात्र अहिले 100 बनाएको छ 100 डलर बनाएको छ
त्यही त हामीले 5,000 बनाएको छु अहिले यहाँ क्लास भएकोले हेर्ने भने दुईटै क्लास सबै पढ्नु पर्यो
कति रहेछ मान्छे क्लासमा
7-8 जना सरमन एनी एलेन क्रिस्टल गुस्ताको एडम डोर्थी कति 1 2 3 4 5
यहाँ माथि गएको छ
100
$100 150
किन तले
किन न हिजो राति किन माथि गएको आस्केर अहिले माथि गएको छ राति राति तल जान्छ तल बेलामा
अहिले के रेटमा गइरहेछ हेर्नु त
हाम्रो कति गइसक्यो
40 पछि 7 कति छ
ट्र्याक्टर मात्रै अलिकति गएको छ सबै माथि माथि गएको छ
पिट पनि बढेछ सोलानो
मेरो पनि $10 कोइन गएको छ
74 मा गयो राति 7 मा आज 15% बढेछ
तल गएको थियो राति तर
किन
ओके म
हाम्रो कति गइसक्यो
हाम्रो
यहाँ त म्युटमा हो।
यहाँ हेर्नु हुँदैन
म्युटमा
म्युटमा होइन
म्युटमा राख्नु
क्लासिक
न
छ अब फेरि म्युट गर्यो भने यहाँ मिलाउनु पर्छ
उ यहाँ
यसको यो बटन
त्यहाँ थिच न
जोइन अडियो जोइन भएको छैन
भएको छ
अनि
अहिले अफ भइरहेछ क्या
सिउनले म्युट गराएको छ नि
कसो
I used to do that.
यहीँबाटै गरे हो अब यो चेन्ज भयो अघि
Audio सेटिङहरु अनि टेस्ट माइक गर्नु न टेस्ट माइक
यो चल्दैन त्यही भएर दुईटा गर्नुपर्छ स्पिकर चाहिँ चल्छ यो माइक चाहिँ चल्दैन के यसमा
अनि कसरी बोल्दा
उ यहाँ
ओ यसमा अनि यसमा म्युट गर्नु न त ओ म्युटेड छ
म्युटेड
हैन अरे छ
यो फोन पनि लगा त मम्मीलाई दिइराख्ने
यहाँ माथि
स्मूथी बनाउन लाग्यो कि बनाएर ल्यायो यहाँ एभोकाडो पनि भएन यहाँ पाक्यो एभोकाडो राखेको
सलादमा राख्नु न बुवा
हुन्छ मैले सलाद किन ल्याएको मलाई
सलादमा मिठो हुन्छ
वाइ एउटा साथी जन Hi John.
Hello.
All right. Hello.
How are you?
I am very good today,
Yeah.
better than my modem.
Hi, guys.
I. Yeah,
I'm back. So I see you guys know each other
yes.
somehow.
Getting
It's Santa.
acquainted.
What's up?
We're getting acquainted.
Santa Barbara, tiny as it
Yeah.
is. All right, so I have a comment to say while people are popping in again, that as much as I don't require you at all to turn on your videos, I do have a request that if your situation is such that it is comfortable for you to turn on your video, it is much easier for me to talk to people than to talk to blank squares. So I really, really appreciate those of you who do have the opportunity to turn on your videos to make things look a little bit more friendly. On the other hand, if you are having issues with your modem, John was just mentioning modem or your cable connection or whatever, definitely having your video on is one of the things that does affect it. So if you're having any issues with an unstable connection or whatever, then definitely turn off your videos. Okay. One last thing. All right. This is very much a side, so I'll say it in 2 seconds. I've had issues with my video for a long time, and I just switched to Frontier in Santa Barbara, just arrived with fiber optics, and it's been amazing. So just fiber, if Frontier, it is half the price of Cox, and it is way faster. But the fiber optics version of Frontier. So anyway, just wanted to throw that out because I've been using it now for a week and I'm very happy with it. All right. So let's head over to, I'm going to share my screen. We're heading over to Photoshop. And so everyone please open their Photoshops. Make sure that you have your screen set up so that you can see me on one side and see your own Photoshop on the other side, or sign in with 2 monitors or 2 devices. And if you sign in with 2 devices, make sure to sign in with both of them into the Zoom. So when necessary, if you need to share your screen, you're able to share that. Okay. All right. So now, what I want us to do today is to become acquainted with the similarities and differences between these programs and what we use them mainly for, which ones we will choose depending on what part of the job we're trying to do. So Photoshop is, and again, a lot of what I'm going to say is stereotyping each program, because a lot of them, there's a lot of crossover between one and the other one does. And the one that we're not even addressing here is Lightroom, where if you're a pure photographer and nothing else but photography, and you're going to do just, color and corrections and lighting corrections and things like that, then you can just use Lightroom. But anything else you want to do that becomes much more detailed and specific to the image, or compositing, or some people paint with Photoshop and just completely start from scratch with completely new art, then you need Photoshop for that. So we're going to start from there, because just about any program, if you're going to, someone's speaking in the background. I'm trying to see where I'm hearing. If you have people speaking in your background, please turn your sound off so that we don't hear talking and stuff like that. I appreciate that. So if you, any brochure or flyer or marketing material, website design, whatever it is that you're up to doing, they will all be things that if they have a photo image, that image can be enhanced to make better, resized to the right size and proportion that you need, and brought into that project. And all of that you can do from inside of Photoshop. So Photoshop is going to work with photographs. Illustrator is going to work with images that mainly you're going to create. And InDesign is going to be the place where you put them together to form that final, make that final product. Okay. So in Photoshop, we're going to mainly work with images that already exist. Now, since there's some issues with the files, there's 2 or 3 people who couldn't get to the pipeline because of the issues pipeline was having. I don't have yet any photos that I have given you for class. Many of you have a photo here and there that you can open up. But for example, Radna won't have any and Mary won't have any right now. So
Yes.
let's just create a new image right here without a photo, which in Photoshop is very rare to do. Usually you start with a photograph, but let's go ahead and hit on this create new. And we're going to actually see what the workspace brings us to before we get inside of an actual photograph. So once you hit create new, I'm going to mute everyone because I don't know who's talking in the background, but somewhere there's a sound in the background. So I'm just muting everyone. And then now everyone's been muted. So now anyone who wants to speak, know that you have been muted. And if you just speak, I won't hear you until you unmute yourself. Okay. Because I just did a blanket mute because I can't tell where the sound is coming from. Okay. So we have this this window here, which is to create a new Photoshop window, a new Photoshop document. And we're going to start seeing that this is the same thing that you get presented on any one of these programs. It has some things about it that are identical to all of them, which is they're going to ask you up here, what kind of image are you creating? Okay, so at the very top, it has some presets for, well, if you're creating a photo, then click on photo. If you're creating a print, because you're going to be printing it. If you're going to make some art, if you're going to be creating a web page, if you're working on something that's going to end up on mobile, or is it film and video? So these are presets. You're going to see the same thing in Illustrator and in InDesign, presets, so that you can already start. Notice that as I click here, something is changing here. And in this case, under film and video, over here, just the default setting, it's giving me says 1920 pixels. And down here, it says RGB color, right? Then if I click over, for example, here on print, it shifted to 8.5 inches. And again, it says RGB color, but then it says resolution 300 pixels per inch, which film and video said something different, it said 72 pixels per inch. So as you move around, here we go to photo, is giving me a 7:5, 300 pixels per inch. So just what choice you make here gives you a default beginning setting, okay? Now, since we don't have an image that we're all going to be sharing right now from my class, I wanna make sure, does everyone see here some templates? Yeah, so I wasn't actually, planning to use this set right now of templates. So all I want is for us to look at, can you see the second row, this one that says hanging gallery right there, frames mockups? Yeah, and remember that if you're saying yes or no, I can't hear you. So if it's a yes, that's fine. If it's a no, and I need to know that, then you need to tell me. Okay, so let's click on this one right there, hanging frames mockups. And it gives you an idea of a template that we can begin to use. And it tells you these templates come from Adobe stock and it says free. So these are samples that we can use just for free. So we're gonna just for today, use one of these just to begin to open up an existing material from stock. Now, what I wanna make sure that as a student account that we can get them. So it's telling us a few things about it. It's telling me that it's going to be 4,000 by 4,000 pixels. We're going to RGB. It's going to tell me things that right now you might not know what it's all about, but right now let's just go click on see preview. And basically it's showing us a way for us to put our own photos in here for it to look like it's hanging on a wall. Okay, so it's not something that matters or not what it is in particular, but I'm showing you because there's tons of templates that you can use. And if they're free, all you need to do is hit download. So let's click on download. Oh, it's over 100 megabytes. I think it'll still be okay for school. Let's see. Let's click on continue and let's see if it downloads. Looks like it's working. I just know that at school, at home, it'll work for you. I'm not sure on VDI because I usually don't work with templates, but let's try it out. So the school pipeline in VDI was not connecting well today, and some people weren't getting all the files. So that's why I'm trying to, this might be one that's a bit too big. Let's see. I'll wait it out a little bit. Meanwhile, if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. We'll just open up a blank file. Those of you who are on VDI, are you at the same place I am? Wow, it's almost 300
yes, Diana.
megabytes.
Yes, but I got a message.
You got one? What does yours say?
This template is over 100 megabytes. Open or cancel? Continue
Yeah,
or
and
cancel?
Ed said it's like 300. So you know what? Let's just cancel.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not do that. It's not worth it for what I wanted to show you. So just say cancel that. For those of you who are on VDI, which is about 4 of you guys, just cancel that. Were you able to cancel yours, Ratna? I can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself? On your phone is where you need to unmute yourself, remember? That's the one that you had the sound from. There you
Well,
go.
I can't share my screen here, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can't share your screen while I'm sharing.
Yeah.
You can only share when I'm not sharing. So
Right.
otherwise it would kick me out. Were you having a different issue with yours or not?
No,
No, that's fine. So Radna, were you
Yeah,
able
it's
to
the
cancel?
same page like you.
Yeah, okay, so cancel, say close. Like when I started to download, it brought up this window where you have a little X that you can get out of. Okay, so get out of that mode and then go and hit back. So let's just leave that. Let's just not download that. Clearly that's not a good idea. Let's go ahead and click on default Photoshop size, blank document preset again. Okay, everyone give me a thumbs up if you're there. Those of you who did download it because you were at home, you can then go to your downloads folders and delete it, but we're not going to use it. Okay, so the default Photoshop size, what we're going to do now is we're going to, by the way, it says here 7 inches by 5 inches. So we've got a 7 by 5 file that's being created. And the default set is set for landscape, as you can see over here. We'll become pretty familiar with all of this later. Right now, let's just say create. And what we have here is a blank wall. Now, wow. This is really, it's really having a hard time redrawing. Something's up with schools VDI. Everyone give me a yes if you've managed to create your blank, which for most people should not be an issue, but mainly for you guys from VDI, there might be an issue. Radna, are you here?
Yes,
Okay.
but it's just downloading.
I don't want you to download anything. I just want you to create the blank. So to cancel the download.
I create the
Okay.
blank, but it's not coming up.
Okay, if you click the blank, then you go to the bottom and click on the word create.
Yeah, I did that.
Okay.
But
Hang on. Let me have you share your screen. I want you to make sure because of the download, you might be messed up. Share your screen really quickly so I can catch up. Meanwhile, you guys, what we're going to do today is compare all 3 programs. And so I'm going to have you guys open all 3 of them. That might tax your system a little bit. So I'm waiting for you to share your screen, Radna. You
yeah,
don't
it's
have
a
Photoshop
white
on
blank.
your iPad, you're saying, Sherman? But you said you had it on your computer, right?
Yeah. So it's a blank sheet, white blank sheet now.
Okay, good. So then you're fine.
Thank
I'm calling you Sherman now, but it's Dylan. Dylan, did you say that you do have it on your computer though, right?
Yes, the
Okay.
computer I'm using now.
Yeah. So you don't need to have it on your iPad. I'm not sure of the comment. You only need it on one computer for class. If you do connect with the iPad to the Zoom, then you can watch the class on the iPad and then do the work on Zoom. That said, his comment did make me think, how many of you guys do have iPads? No? Oh, usually there's more people who have iPads. Okay, well, a couple of you. Just so you know that there's Photoshop for the iPad as well, and there's Illustrator for the iPad, and there's I'm not sure if there's I believe there's InDesign for the iPad. I don't know if there's InDesign for the iPad, actually. I should check in on that. But they used to be very basic versions, and they're getting more and more advanced. They can do more and more stuff. I know that Photoshop and Illustrator for the iPad got a lot of advances that I saw in Adobe Max. It's not the same, but it's got I mean, it's very advanced, and now you can even do raw files and Photoshop and stuff like that on the iPad. Just telling you, for those of you who have one, that if you buy the Creative Cloud subscription, it gives you access to the ones for the desktop and for the iPad. So it's the same account. Okay. Now I'm not going to be demoing any of that, so it's not like I will show you what to do, but there's a lot of LinkedIn Learning has a lot of tutorials on how to use Photoshop for the iPad, for example, and Illustrator for the iPad if you're interested in doing that. Okay, so now in Photoshop, there's something that really matters is how you are seeing the screen. And the way you're seeing the screen is going to be very different than how I'm seeing it right now. And that's the very first thing I'm going to show you, is how to make all of our workspaces be the same. So I'm going to put my mouse on the very far right top of the screen. And way on the far right, you see a couple of different icons here. And the second one in from the back, from the right. So the second one in is the one for workspaces. So click on that one. And everyone is going to have a different choice set up. Let's all go to the essentials workspace. And after you've chosen essentials workspace, things are going to change a little bit. Then go up here to essentials one more time, and then go and say reset essentials, because we want those to be completely the same for all of us. Now, looking at your screen and looking at mine, do we look the same? Is everyone set up the same way?
But it's a small white blank.
Small, I don't know what says small. I don't know what
Wait.
are you talking
Oh,
about.
yeah, it's the same.
It's similar enough. Okay, Dylan, how about yours? Just checking in.
So which file did you go in? I mean, I know it's.
Well, I'm just looking at the workspaces up on the top right. It's not a file yet. We just have a blank file right now.
Oh, so it's default Photoshop size?
I'm going to the essentials workspace, but I'm not sure what you're looking at because nothing says default. You're not you didn't open it up yet. Yes, open up the default Photoshop size and say create.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. Now go all the way up to the far right to the workspaces and go to essentials. Set up for essentials. You might already be there, but you might have been in. People who are in my photography class were in a different setup. And then go back and say reset essentials. So we want to have everyone start with the same exact window as me. Okay, so Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, all these programs can do ridiculous amounts of things. They can do tons of stuff. So one of the things that they can do, we might need tools that are very different from another. So if you're doing a drawing and a painting in Photoshop, you might need different tools than what you're doing is you're creating a poster with text, or if you're making a Photoshop, enhancing a photograph. So this workspace allows us to change the tools that we're working with. Notice that right now, these tools that you are seeing here, just take a quick gander at these tools and just watch my screen for a second. Look at how different it looks if I go now to motion, for example. Did you see how suddenly all of this has changed? How I have something new down there? See how that's changed? So you can play around with yours as well. But what I'm showing is it's like you walk into a room and you open a different cupboard and you go, okay, here's all my sewing material. And in this cupboard, I have all my oil painting materials. It's just different tools that are popping up. All the programs have a setting called the workspace settings, and it'll have different materials. And your hand is up. Is that a question, or is it from before?
Oh,
And no, okay, it's from before. All right,
And,
so I'm gonna,
so my essentials is default and it's already checked.
yeah, so if you're already in essentials, that's just where you were in. Then go down to, one more thing that you need to do is go down to reset essentials, because you might have already moved things around and it's different than what the true essentials that came from Photoshop might be. So once you did that, then you'll be in the same place as me. Now I'm going to change one more thing I want you to pay attention to. Here on the left side of my screen, right here on the left, you see how I have, just focus on this area with your eyes. Just put your mouse on this area. Put your eyes on this area and don't move your eyes from this. I'm going to go in and change to photography, for example. Did you see how things changed here as well?
Yep.
Now I'm going to change to graphic and web. Things changed here as well. So the reason I'm showing you this is because depending on what tools you're in, you're going to get not only things that are different here, but they'll be different up there, they'll be different down there. Okay, everything I'm showing you today, let's go back to essentials. Let's leave it in essentials. Everything I'm showing you right now applies to all three programs. So since more of you are confident and know Photoshop, I'm showing you this here in Photoshop, but then we'll go and repeat this every time we open a program. We'll go to the workspace and set the workspace that works for most of us at the same, to work with at the same time. And it might be a different one in each program. Now, when we have these workspaces, you can modify and alter them to your own, to the best of your own needs. When we teach the full-on Photoshop class or the full-on Illustrator class, I have you guys modify the workspaces a little bit, but right now we're probably going to sit with the basic workspaces. The next thing that I need us to know is that you can zoom in and zoom out with shortcuts. And to see this window bigger or smaller right now, I could do and hit the, if you're on a Mac, hold down the Command key. If you're on the PC, hold down the Control key. And a tip to all of you guys like Radna, you're on a Mac, but
Yeah.
the VDI is PC. So you need to pay attention to the PC shortcuts. Okay.
Okay.
So hold down the Control key, and then you can hit the up at the top where you see the minus and the plus sign, hit the minus, and I am making my window smaller, smaller, smaller. So Control or Command, and then small, small, or plus sign, big, 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 until it gets really big. Now,
but mine is not working, the mouse. I don't know.
I'm not using the mouse. I'm going to the keyboard. Hold down the Control key.
Yes.
Do you see the Control key? And then the minus or the plus are up by the numbers, right to the very far right of the number. So keep holding down the Control key and then tap the minus and then tap the plus. And my Control key kicks two hands. One hand, hold down the Control key and nothing else. And the other hand, tap the minus and the plus, the minus and the plus. Okay.
It is not working on my, I don't know.
It's hard.
Control minus.
Remember, he's using a Mac, so it would be the Command key.
No, he's on VDI. He's on a Mac, but he's on VDI.
But
So his key has to be the Control key. It has to be the PC key. I know it's complicated for VDI Mac users to figure it out, but did that work at all? Hold down the
No.
control key. Okay. Hold down with one finger the control key. I can see your hands.
Yeah.
Hold down the control key with one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Now go up to where you see the delete key and the
Zero.
backspace key, and
Yeah.
then click on the plus sign.
It is not going on mine. I don't know.
All right. So I would have to see your keyboard to see what's happening. But for now, don't worry.
Okay.
I'm going to keep working on the rest of
Yeah.
the applications, and then we'll get into the minutia, because you can't even see the pixels because we don't have pixels in this one right now. All right. So really quickly, on the left side, these tools here on the left, depending on which one you click on, it's going to give you a subset of tools here to modify that one. So this is going to change all the time. So if I click on this tool, which is the marquee tool, that changed. If I click on that tool, this changed. If I click on that one, this changes. Okay, so basically this control bar is dependent on the tools that we have here on the left side. All right, so depending on what I'm using here is what's going to happen up there. I just wanted you to know that, because this will always be different. You first need to choose your tool, and then you'll choose what kind of tool you're going to use. And this is the same for most, for some programs, but in other, depending, that part is a little bit different. Okay, so we're going to leave Photoshop for now. This is the main set of tools. This is how we control it. And then over here on the right, we have panels where we move forward and do more stuff. You'll notice that there's a properties panel here that we'll find in all the different files that we're, the different applications that we're going to go to. And the properties panel is also going to be contextual. So if I'm using a certain tool, it'll show me certain things. If I'm using another tool, it'll show me other things depending on what I'm using it for. So let's go ahead and what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and head down to the wow, the VDI is really not working well. I don't even have the way to exit the program nor to get the taskbar. Something's really not. I'm trying to get to the taskbar. Here it is. I had to make my window a little bit bigger, and it's the taskbar is not showing up. Guys, VDI is really being a problem here. I can keep showing you stuff on my own computer, but then for people on VDI, it'll be hard. Gustavo, Isabel, you guys, do you see the taskbar down here that we normally see for you guys, or is it just me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I can see.
Yes.
You guys
I
can see it. It's just
Yes.
me, huh? It's my VDI and it's not working. I'm going to go up to File, and I'm going to exit this Photoshop, which I don't really want to close it right now, but I'm going to exit because I need to see what's happening. My whole, looks like me, I'm the one who's going to have to go to tech support to see what's happening to my thing. Okay, so I closed Photoshop, which wasn't necessarily my intention, but it was the only way for me to get out because I wasn't seeing this window. So if you guys have Photoshop open and you still see this, then click on that and let's open Illustrator.
You want us to keep Photoshop open?
Keep Photoshop open, yeah. I'm going to open it in a minute again, but right now open Illustrator. If your computer is running out of power because it can't do everything at the same time, then go ahead and close Photoshop. It's okay. So I'm going to open Illustrator. And this is new to quite a few of you guys. And Illustrator, so Photoshop we just used with a blank file, which is kind of rarely that way. Usually we'll have a photograph in there to enhance. But for example, my son does a lot of illustrations, and illustrations where he freehand paints them kind of as if it were a painting, and that he uses Photoshop for. So then you start with a blank file and then you use the same tools that we use for enhancing photographs that you would use in that sense too. Now, again, if this is the first time you're using Illustrator, you're going to give like a little what's new, and it's going to tell you about the new information that you have. Right now, we don't want that. Go ahead and click on this little X right there and get rid of it. And then you've opened Illustrator. Just like before, it's a little welcome kind of menu. If you've used it before, you'll have some art, some stuff down here. Let's go back to the good old create new, as we did before with Photoshop. We're creating new. And here's that same window that we had before. Now, my window at the top again is telling me, what do I want to create? A web, print, a film, a video. What is it that I'm looking? And the one it'll say is recent, but if you've never used it before, that's not useful. Let's go back to print. We're just doing the same equivalent file opening on all of them. Let's go to print, and let's go ahead and again, over here on the right side, we'll see numbers and things that change as opposed to if we do video. Video is asking me for pixels. Art and illustration is giving me points, and print is giving me points over here. I'm not even showing, I can make this window a little bit bigger. I can go to the bottom and stretch it out a little bit so you can see other options. So over here, I'm getting in print, I'm getting something that says color mode CMYK, raster effects high 300 PPI. If instead I go to film and video, you'll see that not only did pixels change, but RGB color changed, raster effects 72. So again, a whole bunch of preset settings telling us what's the best file to set up for all of this material. Let's head back to print, since that's what I said that we were going to be doing for all of them. And let's just say create. Click on print and then say create. Oh. Wow. My VDI is really lagging. Are you all set up with the, all right, did it open up for most of you guys already?
No, not mine.
Yours either, right? VDI. Look at mine is doing this little, oh, there it went. Wow. By the way, I've taught for 2 years on VDI now, and I've never had as many problems with it as I've had over the last few weeks. So I don't know what's wrong, but it's hopefully they'll be getting onto it and fixing it soon, because this is really hard to show you guys. But anyway, here we are in Illustrator, and the difference between what we opened before and what we're opening now is in the type of file that we're working with. Photoshop is where we're going to be working with the kind of material that Photoshop works with, so to say, is pixels. So when you take a picture, when you take a photograph with a camera, with your phone, when you scan something in, the information that you're going to be having in that file is pixels, little tiny squares of color that millions of them put together give us the image of the bird or whatever it is that we photographed. In Illustrator, on the other hand, it's all mathematical calculations happening in the background. And when you create something in Illustrator, you are drawing and creating a vector file. A vector file is something that's just purely created by the computer. There's no relation to real life, you know. And so whatever you make gets saved as a vector file. Usually the vector files are much, much smaller than a pixel file. And once again, for the most part, you'll be creating them, or you'll be working with files that someone else created on the computer. Here on the left side, again, you have the basic set of tools. On the right side, you have the panels, and for everyone at the very top over here, you'll see right there is the switch workspace icon. So we have all of these little icons, then we have like a little search, and then that's the same icon we had before. And as you can see, we have the same situation where you can choose to do some painting. Your panels are going to change. You're going to choose to do some typography. Your panels are going to change once again. And in this case, we're going to head back to, there's two essentials though. And here it gets a little bit confusing. There's the essentials, which is very basic set with very few tools available. And it's like kind of like the starter set. And then there's the Essentials Classic. Essentials Classic is a bit more like Photoshop, where you see how this appeared on the top, where I choose a tool and I can modify that tool and stuff like that, which before in Essentials, they had disappeared, that panel. And the Essentials, that panel doesn't exist. They're trying to make it a little bit simpler. I have always taught Adobe with Essentials Classic. So I think that's the better choice, the better setting. But sometimes it gives too many choices, because now it gives you a choice over here to do something and a choice over here to do something. So we're gonna use the Essentials Classic, but I'm gonna show you where to look first. Now, since all I'm showing you is the kind of layout that the program has, you don't right now see much of a difference. I'm going to have us create a basic box right now. Click on all these tools that we have right here, start heading down until you hover over the one that's the rectangle tool. Or do you see how right next to the word rectangle tool, there's a little M in between parentheses? Between that little tooltip, it says rectangle tool, and then it says M. Notice that all of the tools, right after their word, they have a little letter between parentheses. And that's going to be little shortcuts that allow us to get us to that tool faster. So if I don't want to scroll all the way down here to click on that tool, I could also be on some other tool and just tap the letter M on my keyboard, and I end up getting there. All right. So what I want us to do now is we're going to make a little rectangle, but first let's choose a color for it. So up here at the very top, let's click on this little box that's white, and let's choose some bright color. I don't know, I'm going to choose bright pink. Okay, and then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to just click and drag and make a little pink rectangle. Okay, so let me know if you're not following me, if you've missed something. I know that quite a few of you have done the basics of Illustrator, so this isn't new to you, but all right, so Radna, how are we
Yes.
doing?
Oh,
Did you make your...
I cannot come out from the Photoshop.
All right, yeah, my computer was giving me problems with that too. Sorry guys, we don't usually have these many issues with the computers and the programs themselves. Let me stop my share. Radna, can you share a little bit your screen to see how I can get you out of that so you can open Illustrator?
Diana,
Yeah.
just so you know, I've moved to 2022. They have moved everything around.
I know.
I'm trying to find things and they aren't where they're supposed to be. And
are you in Photoshop or in Illustrator? What
in both, even to the point, by the way, it's no longer create file, it's new file.
Yeah, I was watching
terminology.
the videos, and there's quite a few changes in terminology. There's one that's interesting, and in design, I was going to teach you how to use master files.
Yeah.
They're called parent files. You know, there's all
Well,
these different.
and the other one was how many of the Max things I was watching and realized, oh my God, they're showing me Lightroom, not Lightroom Classic, and I can't do that on Lightroom Classic. So
yeah,
lot of fun.
Lightroom with all the versions it has, I was feeling they're probably going to unite them at some point. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, so here we go. You're still in Photoshop, and you do have, go to the bottom right, bottom left on the start. Yeah, click on that. And then on the right side, you should see Adobe Illustrator. I see it already on that list. You see Illustrator one down. Yeah, click on that one. And Photoshop Illustrator will open. And now Photoshop is open, and you see the little, you're welcome. Yeah. And now look at the bottom of your Zoom, your window, your VDI window, and you'll see how it says PS. There's a little, put your mouse down a little bit, and down there it says AI. No, actually that's the dock for the Mac. Ignore that one, go up a little bit higher to the one for VDI. and you say a little AI on the dock. No, you're fine where you are. Move down again. There's this big box that says type here to search, like.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Now Illustrator's opening up. Okay, go ahead and close out of this window. Go up to the top little X there on what's new and close out of that window. Oh, yeah, and now say create new on the left side. Left, left, left. Left, up, left. Yeah, create new. And that's where they're saying create file. What did you say they say now, Ed?
So I click on create.
Yeah, now go to print.
It says new file instead of create file.
Yeah.
Minor.
Create new. Yeah, say create new. You had said to create new, and then you cancel out of it. Yeah, create new. There we go. It was just working. So now we're in Illustrator, and they're relatively similar. Let me show you on his computer, you guys. But for those of you who are on a PC, on the taskbar, that bottom black bar that you have there right next to where you had the windows, and since Radna's using VDI, so it's a PC, but he's normally works on a Mac, and so I'm just explaining a little bit for everyone. I want you guys to have the programs always open, but to switch between one and the next, you need to use the taskbar. So Radna, can you move your mouse down to where it says the big white bar that says type here to search? Yeah, so move to the right now. Keep going to the right. Keep going to the right to where it gets black. That's the taskbar. That's equivalent to the dock and the Mac. So those of you who have a Mac, you have a dock. He has it a little bit lower. But those of you who have a PC have the taskbar. And if you go a bit further to the right on your taskbar, you'll see there the Adobe Illustrator. And then on the left side, the Photoshop, right? So now click on Photoshop, click on that PS. And it should, when you click on that, did you click on it already? Maybe it's slow because of VDI, but it should have switched to Photoshop. Are you clicking on it? It's not switching.
Yeah.
I don't know what's not working because of VDI and what's not working because it's not working. Hover over go to the right side where it says Adobe Illustrator. When you hover over an image over an icon and click on it, that program should be coming to the forefront. Okay, like right now he is Illustrator. It should be working. There we go. It switched to it's just acting really slowly, but it did switch to Photoshop. Okay, it should be much faster. I think there's definitely something happening right now with the school. And now to go back to Illustrator, you can click again on that icon. That same thing for you guys on the Mac, but on the dock, you can go on the dock and you will find the P for Photoshop and the it's a PS for Photoshop and an AI for Adobe Illustrator. Okay, so to switch between programs, go to the dock and switch back and forth instead of waiting for, instead of moving your window around. You know, some people make something smaller, make something bigger. Just use your docks to move back and forth. Okay, again, it's reacting a little bit slowly for him. But now you have both programs open at the same time and you can switch back and forth. We do a lot of this when we're working in Photoshop and in Illustrator and in InDesign. We switched amongst 3 programs back and forth all the time. So you want to be able to see if your computer can handle having all of them open at the same time. All right. So now you have the workspace to change. So do you remember where I showed you to change the workspace? If you move your mouse all the way up, where I was having you choose Essentials. So go to the far right, Radna, far right. All right, yeah, up, yeah. And now move to the left of that in the first icon that you see. No, to the left, up there, but keep going to your left. Keep going to your left, keep going, moving to your left. Keep going, no, you're fine. That one. One left, one more to the left. That one. Okay. Click on that one. Yeah. You might have the Zoom things. I noticed that the Zoom things are in the way because you're sharing your screen.
Yeah.
But if you can't click right now, I'm going to stop your share so that you can stop having the Zoom things in the way. And that exactly place where you're clicking on, that's what you need to click on to change your your workspace. And I'm going to share my screen now. It's just that when you start sharing your screen or when someone shares their screen, all the little Zoom windows get sometimes in the way of all the tools. And when I know that you're pointing toward it, but you can't see it, I know that there's usually a Zoom window in the way. Okay, see, this is the problem that I'm coming across. My Illustrator is not, when I share my screen, I'm going to stop my share again. When I share my screen, my window goes berserk and I can't get to my Photoshop. Guys, this is very frustrating for me. You know, don't understand what's happening and I cannot fix it. If I cannot fix it, I cannot show you. I can't switch. I'm back in Photoshop and I can't switch back to Illustrator. My Photoshop is going haywire. So I'm going to have to not have my Photoshop up, which I guess that's fine because I'm going to show you Illustrator and InDesign now. My Photoshop is hogging the entire screen and I can't use it. So anyway, I'm back on Illustrator. So I showed you guys how to make a quick little, you know, black pink box in Illustrator. Okay. Did somebody say something to me? I'm sorry.
Rectangle, you mean?
Yes. We've made a little rectangle here or a big one or whatever rectangle you made. And now we can keep making. Our tool is still set in that same mode. It's called make rectangles mode. That's all this tool does. So if I click and drag, I'm going to make another one. And if I click and drag, I'm going to make another one. So all these are going to keep being exactly the same, except for a different shape and size. And in fact, I can make one that's on top of another one. The only thing I can do right now to stop what I'm doing is to change my tool. So it's like if I grabbed a marker and I'm drawing with a marker, I can't expect oil paint to come out of it. I need to grab my oil paint. So a lot of people wonder, well, how do I move these now? Well, you don't move it with the same thing that makes the tool. You need to go back to the move tool. And this is the same for all of our programs. So everything I'm teaching right now kind of works across all of them. When you've got one tool in hand, when you're done doing what you're doing, you have to go back, and that always is that top choice of all of our toolbar is always the move tool. So the very top one there, when I hover over it, when I first come across, it's called selection tool. That is my basic moving tool. And the thing is that there's a shortcut for it. If you notice, it says selection tool V, that V for vase, for verb, that V is across the board. Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign is what moves things. So I'm going to go to that one. And now I'm going to grab and I'm going to move this box around and move this box around and move this box around. And I can just move a whole bunch of stuff around because I'm done making and now I'm moving things. Okay. Now, with that in mind and the similarities of the programs, I couldn't show you this in Photoshop because my Photoshop's not working, but that I'm going to now go and have us open InDesign. So let's go back to the start. So Radna, take your mouse to this very bottom left corner like you just did to open Illustrator. Everyone, we're going to click down here and we're going to go open InDesign. So Adobe, ABCD, there it is, Adobe InDesign. And it seems like it's going to take a little while here for those of us on VDI. Hopefully for you guys, InDesign is the program that takes the longest to open always anyway. I don't know why. It seems to tax the system more than all the other programs. InDesign is where we're going to create the layouts. InDesign is where we're going to, it's like the skeleton, the structure of our piece. So if we're working on you know, labels for my bottles for the product that I'm making. If I'm working on a poster for my exhibit, if I'm marketing for making a brochure, if I'm creating a banner for my webpage, whatever it is that I'm creating, depending on the needs, you might need, if you have many elements coming from different programs, if you have maybe a photograph plus a logo, maybe you have a video, maybe you have sound, all of that, you can put it together in InDesign. And you create the structure, and then you say, okay, over here, I'm going to have this, and you bring that. And then from here, this program, you bring that. And from this program, you bring that. And you assemble it together in InDesign. What we tend to create in InDesign is more things like text, where we lay out the text and we fix text. And it's a program which is the best of all these programs. It's the only one where it should ever attempt to create a multi-page document. Okay, so I already closed that little box that was popping up there. And now, as you can see, we're in the very similar window again. And once again, I'm going to say create new. And over here, I only have 3 choices: print, web, or mobile. So you notice that in the past, we had things like illustration or film. Well, we don't make illustrations in InDesign. We bring an illustration made in another program into InDesign, where we're going to put some text over it and create it into something that we're going to print. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. We don't create film. We don't put strips of motion in here, but we might import a video or a strip. So we might create interactivity to access other things. But here we just have to decide what structure are we creating, and what's the end place? What's the end product going to be? Is it going to be something I'm going to print on paper? I'm going to print on a hat? Am I going to be going to the web? Now, web or mobile in a way are similar. They're just different presets for size, but basically it's something that's going to be on screen. That's not going to be printed, but it's going to be shown through light on a screen, be it a tiny phone screen or be it on a big desktop, right? So those are similar presets. Let's go back to print again, and let's say print. And thus the basic choice that we have here is on the letter size. And notice for the first time, something strange is happening, because I've been showing you how the sizes and things are different. But this time we're seeing picas, which we hadn't seen picas up until now. We'd seen pixels or inches or points, remember, in the other ones that I've been showing you. Well, picas is the way from ancient times that things that have been laid out to print have been measured in. But nowadays, unless you're a designer, it doesn't really make that much sense to people. You have to do calculations that just don't apply, and very few things get created in picas at this point anyway. So I recommend from the very beginning, let's just switch this to inches. And so up here, you already see that this is a basic letter sized 8.5 by 11 inches. And we're going to ignore the rest of the information right now. We're going to go with what the basic things are, and we're going to say create. And here we have a page. Okay. So at first you're going to have these little tours. We don't want these. If you want it to show it to you again, leave that checked. But for now, let's turn this off. There you go. And what we're going to do in here is we're going to create material brought in from other places. And most of the times we're going to place the text itself here in InDesign onto that photograph to make it into that poster, to make it into that brochure. Okay, so now, as you can see, similarity wise, on the left side, we have the same idea, the set of tools, the news, the PowerPoint. So they're all become very similar. And up at the very top, we have our workspaces. Now let's go and click on essentials and see again how this time we have a ton of different settings. We have digital publishing. If you're going to make ebooks, if you're going to make actual books, if you're going to go and make interactive PDFs, PDFs that you can link and click onto, printing straight stuff, typography, etc. So again, at this point, I probably don't need to show you, but the moment you change the workspace, things happen and lots of stuff changes. So now what we're going to do, once again, the Essentials is a very simplified version. We're going to hit Essentials Classic. That's the one that I want us to choose. Essentials Classic. And then what we're going to do under Essentials Classic is we're going to, for now, begin to look how to work with some of these panels. So this, what I'm going to show you here again is the same for all the rest of them. So right now I'm showing you similarities. As we begin to work with each one, we're going to be creating pieces in each one to bring into InDesign. We're going to see the differences, but the CC libraries, Creative Cloud libraries, is something that is awesome, wonderful to use for those of you who have your own Creative Cloud subscription. So for anyone who's paid for this and has their own applications, you can use the Creative Cloud libraries to put things in here to be accessed by the rest. So say that in Adobe InDesign, let's go back now to Illustrator. So here I was in InDesign, here I'm in Illustrator. This is what I was trying to show you, but my Photoshop isn't letting me do that right now. See how quickly it is? I'm slipping over here from here to there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put something in the libraries. I'm going to click here on, and I'm in an Illustrator where y'all made a box, right? I'm going to go over here to libraries. Okay. And for those of you who are in your own Creative Cloud, which is about half of this class, more than half of this class, you're on your own Creative Cloud, you can actually create a new library. Now, for those of us on VDI, it has not allowed us to use it because it's not a personal account. So what I'm showing you right now is for those of you at home with your own version. You can click on my library, or you can create a new library. Just go ahead and click on my library. And let's see if this works for VDI people, Isabel and Gustavo and Radna. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click and just drag this in. Actually, you need to make a... The thing is that I don't know what's happening to Isabel. You guys, do you have anything appear in here, or is it telling you you can't use it? Is it the signature saying you can't use it? Or are you able to use it, Isabel? Do you see something working here?
It's a library, create new library, stock temples. That's what it says.
So let's see if you can drag this and just drop it in there, because I'm just going to see how I just dropped something in there. So I went with my move tool and I dropped it in there, and it just says, you see a pink box. Are you seeing that? Is that working? It used to not work. I was told the other day that they'd enabled the libraries, but I know that mine is working, but is it working, Gustavo? No. So
no,
what is
it? Won't let me do it.
It won't let you do it. What is it saying for you?
You don't have access to the service in mine.
Okay. So for three of you guys, Radna, Isabel, Mary, Gustavo, you won't have access to it. For all the rest of you guys, go ahead and drop that little pink box in there. Or whatever color box you made.
Mine doesn't really show that.
The libraries are...
It says organize libraries your way, and then create group. And then there's one.
Okay. Well, create group then.
Oh.
And then in that group, you can drop this box.
There we go.
How about the rest of you guys? Is it working?
Yeah, it's working.
Wait.
It is working for you, Radna?
Yeah, it's working, but I cannot put the color. I forget how to do.
Yeah. Oh, it's fine. If you have a box here made, if you didn't put color in it, go to this little box right there. That in your case would be white, and choose a color. but I wouldn't expect it to work.
Where to go? On the next to file, edit, layout, or?
Yeah, there's a white box here. If you haven't chosen a color yet, that box is white. When you click on that white box, it gives you a color, but you need to have that box selected. Click on the box you made and then go over here and choose a color for it. And then for those of you who have the libraries working, drop it in there. Right now, head over to Illustrator now. Go back to your libraries and there you'll see that box. So now you're in InDesign. I'm sorry, we were in Illustrator. We made a box.
Yep, there we
Now
go.
we came to InDesign. We go to my library and we can just drag that and drop it in here and click and drop it. So we basically have made an asset in one program and we've put it in our library, which is something that all programs access. And then I go to another program and I drag it out and I put it in this program. Pretty cool, right? Did it work for you guys, except for VDI people? For those of you who have libraries, did it work for you guys?
Yep, it did.
It's not
Okay.
working.
It didn't for
Yeah.
me.
So Radna, Gustavo,
Yes.
and Isabel, it's not going to work for you guys. Okay, because
Yeah.
you're having the school version, VDI version that doesn't let this happen. I've asked for them to enable libraries. It's such an important part of the whole Adobe universe now that to not have the libraries working at school is really inconvenient. But they were, and I think some of the credit students can have it. So I'm trying to figure out why we're not having it. But anyway, this was reminding me to see if I can talk to people at school again about this to enable the libraries. And I don't know what it's going to take because by not having a personal account, it's harder. But anyway, so John and Anne, Joyce, Dorothy, Ed, did you guys, Dylan, did you guys get it to work?
Yep, we did.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
no,
No, Dorothy?
no.
Okay. So those of you who said no, does anyone want to share their screen so I can give you a hand? Because I won't be able to demo libraries a lot as part of this class because you know, there's a lot of people for whom it can't work. So I just want to really quickly show you guys, and then you at home who have the system can keep working with it. And whenever I say, well, maybe try putting this one in the library, you'll know what I'm talking about, but I won't keep doing it or using it much because I can't really have that happen. So, so here's your library over there. Okay, so can you grab this pink box with your mouse? You have to go into your move tool, which is the top tool. You're not in that tool yet.
Oh, maybe that's why.
You didn't really choose it yet. You're still not in that tool. So go up and click on it. Yeah. And now choose that box, any of those boxes. Yeah. And now go and drop it into there. Yeah, let go. Okay, cool. Now switch over to your InDesign. Yeah, you weren't selecting it enough to move. Now switch over to your InDesign. And that's, by the way, that's Illustrator. So go to InDesign now. Yeah. And now in the libraries, you're in something else. You're in Westerners 2020. So that's fine. That's a library, but it's not the right one. So click on the word Westerners, go to CC Libraries. You're inside of a library already. Yeah. And then now go to My Library. And there's your pink box. So now grab that pink box and drag it out onto this window. So this is a very basic use, but that could have been a logo, right? Where you're creating, you need to click on it and drag it out and drop as if you were grabbing it and putting it in. So go back to that pink arc. There we go. Perfect, it's working. So I'm going to stop your share.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else for whom it's not working? So basically what we just did is now I want to put you guys in the position of you have your own company or some company that you're working for and they gave you the logo and you need to create for them something in Photoshop, something in Illustrator, something in InDesign, something in, you mentioned it, Dreamweaver, Premiere Pro, you're filming a video, a whole spectrum of the Adobe sets of programs. And you at some point need the logo for the business card, for the video closing credits, for the whatever it is that you're doing. You go to the library and you make a new library for that company. This is company Gizmo. And inside of that company Gizmo, you have their logos, you have their address, you have the fonts that you choose to use, the styles that you choose to use, like you have all the settings for that company. And then as you open any of these programs, you drag out of the library the information that's the same for all of them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Very cool, very useful. I'm not going to demo it much because today only 4 of us, but depending when everyone's here, there's more or less who don't have it. So just remember that you guys can use it. And every now and then you might want to ask me, could this go into the libraries or not? Because one thing that's new that I did see in this Adobe Max, so we don't have the 2022 version, but if you do have the 2022 version, you can actually put character styles. You can put a lot of stuff. Before you couldn't do that. You could put a specific piece of text in there, but you couldn't put a lot of preset settings, but now we can. So you can do so much more with it. So keep playing around with it. Now I have, you can save swatches. This here is a color sample that I saved at some other point. These are color samples. And so I might have chosen a color in one program in Photoshop. Maybe I chose a color in Photoshop, saved it as a swatch, is how you save colors. Put a little swatch of a new color that you made. And then I come out to InDesign and I want to paint this in that swatch, right? So that I can go over here and choose this color, which will be available now as a color, inside of InDesign. Okay, so we're gonna, I'm looking at the time. Okay, 12:45. Sorry, it's 12:07, but the class finishes at 12:45. So I'm unable to show you Photoshop right now. Let's all go to Bridge. And let's open Bridge. For those of you who were at home,
Share your
I've
screen.
asked you to, oh, thank you. If you guys see me talking for quite a while and you're not seeing a screen, something is wrong. Remind me to share my screen. As I said before, my face is the least of what you should be looking at. Okay, so I just opened Bridge. So what I did is I went down to the start again, and I went to Adobe Bridge. And this Adobe Bridge is the first program that does not look like all the other 3. Okay. Adobe Bridge, when it opens up, is going to look different than whatever you're seeing from me right now. You'll probably be seeing something like this PC or something like that. I don't know exactly where you'll be. Maybe you'll be on your desktop or your documents, but the whole point is that where you'll be is different than where I am. So don't worry. What I want you to have is up here, there's a whole set of essentials and libraries and film strip and output. I want you to make sure to click essentials. And if your window is really small, if your window is very small, they might all have collapsed and you might see them all here under the word libraries, and you might need to click and switch to metadata or light table or whatever. And I want you guys to go to essentials. Okay, so basically what we want is the essentials layout. So I'm kind of defaulting us to essentials on most of them, which is the beginning set of tools for all of them. And let me explain what Bridge is all about. So, okay, so now we know Photoshop is to make photos, pixel-based, bitmapped images, raster images. We're going to slowly understand what all those are. That's all Photoshop. Vector files is what Illustrator is, mainly things that you've created or someone's created on a computer. InDesign is to gather all your assets, put them together to create a final project. The one app, an Adobe, that links all of the other apps together is Bridge. And the way you use Bridge is as a source to go and open your files from there, categorize, catalog, add metadata, just organize all your material. Those of you who use Lightroom, you have some of that in Lightroom just for photographs. There's a way to use Lightroom. Lightroom has, as part of its whole way of being used, it has a whole series of catalogs, categorization, all of that, which works only for photographers. But people who work with InDesign, and with not InDesign the program, but who work in design or film or media, multimedia, anything other than just photography, need more than just photographs. And they need all their assets organized in one way or another. So just about every other creative output needs to be able to find other material. So Bridge is the program that we use to coordinate all that material that goes into, be it a film, be it a brochure, be it a website, be it a simple business card. And through Bridge, we can see our material and we can organize it, we can catalog it, we can do a whole bunch of stuff, but also Bridge allows us to do things that we can't do in any other program, such as use Camera Raw to process photography and stuff like that. So we'll just be using it and you'll see how useful it is, so that you can get accustomed to it. But how to find files, you're going to have to go over here to the left side and choose where your files are in your computer. So it's possible that you're seeing the word folders first. It's possible you're seeing favorites. I'm not sure, but there's these two, favorites and folders, right? In fact, in case you're in a different setting, you can either go and reset. Let me reset the workspace for essentials, just so that I have it set up as the basic setup. Okay. The reset for essentials shows me that your main setup tab here is favorites. And in here, it's going to be taking me to the basic documents that you have in your computer. So for those of you who have your photos in an external drive, for those of you who have your photos in a particular place, and now we're talking about people who have their own computers. If you need to find your stuff somewhere else that's not here, these are like shortcuts, then you can go over here to folders and say, well, my folders are in this PC or in another PC. Maybe you have a different, like you have a different hard drive that your photos are in. So you go to a different hard drive where you find your stuff and there you open it and whatnot. So you find yourself that way. For those of us who are on VDI though, what we're going to go to is to this PC. And then you're going to go over to Google Drive. Okay, so Gustavo, Isabel, Radna, Mary,
Yeah.
you're going to go to Google Drive.
Okay.
All right. And then double click on Google Drive. So the rest of you go find images wherever you are. Later, what we're going to do next week, or I'm going to ask you to do it over this week. I'm going to send you a folder and ask you to download some class files. And then put them somewhere in your computer, and then we'll access our class files from there. But right now, for VDI people, you're going to head over to Google Drive, and then here you're going to be in shared drives. Shared drives.
I don't have Google Drive on mine.
No, because you're using your own computer.
Right.
So you're going to have your own files wherever your own files are. And I'm going to have you guys download stuff from Pipeline, and you'll be able to download it into your downloads folder and you can use it from there. The problem is that since a lot of people couldn't access them today, I decided to not have you guys download them today. The Pipeline that I showed you earlier, right here where all your files are, usually there's a folder here which is download class files. And right now my whole pipeline still isn't drawing. It's very frustrating to have a whole 4-hour class and not to have all the material for the class available. I don't know why Pipeline is not working. there's only so much I can do from here. On Fridays when I don't have tech support is driving me crazy that they're not putting tech support on Fridays. It's just that for the most part, a lot of the classes go from Monday through Thursday at school. And so those of us who teach Fridays or Saturdays are kind of out of luck until Monday. So I don't know what's happening. But over here, there's going to be a folder of files that you're going to get to download. And it's going to have all the files that we're going to use for class. And so when you get here, you're just going to go to wherever you downloaded them. So I'm going to see if on Monday they have a way to fix whatever is happening. Then I'm going to put the folders there, and then I'm going to send you an email, and I'm going to record a little video telling you what to do. And you have all week to do that, to download the class files to be ready for next Friday. Okay. Because I can teach you everything I can teach you, but I can't fix the school systems. And if the school systems, VDI and pipeline aren't working, I can't do anything about it, which is very frustrating. Okay. So this is where the rest of us are going to find the material. Those of us who are on VDI, then you get to go into the Digital Design Techniques folder. For this Google Drive is only for people who are on VDI and pipeline, and here you're getting to some photos. Okay. I do have one photo available though over here that maybe we can work with. That would be nice. I'm looking at the time. Have a little bit of time left. Okay, so does everyone who's in class right now, do you have in your computer anywhere a photo you can pull up? Not just VDI people, you can do this one. But Joyce, Sherman, Dorothy, Ann, Ed, John, is there a photo you can pull up from somewhere? If you've been in my classes before, from a folder that you've downloaded before, give me a yes if you can do that. Dylan, you're the only one that I don't know. Do you have a photo somewhere that you can open up?
My wife's
You want me to share my screen?
not into photography.
So there's not a single photograph you can open up. It occurs to me, because I can send this photo to everyone right now in an email, but I'm not sure if that'll work for everyone to go pick up an email, a photo from an email right now. But
I pulled up an image.
You've pulled up an image. Okay. So John, since you're in your wife's computer, would you be able to access an email if I sent you a photo by email right now? No, probably not.
I think so. Let me get to mail.
Do I need to send it to her email then?
Yes, it would have to be sending it to her.
Yeah. So give me, if you want to write her email, you can send me a chat just to me and send me her email in the chat, and then send it just to me. And then I'll send you this photo really quickly so you have a photo. Or you can tell me her email if you want to and dictate it to me, either way. John? Hello, John? If you're speaking to me, you're muted, so I wouldn't know if you're trying to talk to me. I haven't heard you for about a whole minute. Hello? John, I can't hear you. All right. I'm gonna wait until John comes back. Meanwhile, let me say that for those of you on VDI, so for Gustavo, Isabel, and Ratna
Yes.
and Mary. Do you see this right here? Did you get?
Yeah.
Did you get this far?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I can
Okay,
see.
so this is in Bridge. Photoshop or
Yes.
Bridge knows that a JPEG is going to be a photograph made out of pixels. It's a photograph. It's a bitmap raster image. Bridge knows that the program who has to operate with that is Photoshop. So when you double click on an image in Bridge that's a JPEG, it's going to kick open that image in Photoshop, and it's going to it's going to open up in Photoshop. Okay. All right. So John, I'm sending this image to you or John, and I'm sending. Okay. So you should be getting that image in a second, John. If you can download it, that would be great.
Okay, is it somebody diving off a pier?
Yes, it is someone diving off a pier. All right.
Want to see the picture that I pulled up?
Sure. But I need to stop my share. My Photoshop again is giving me issues, which is driving me crazy, but oh well. Okay, so go ahead and share your screen. Meanwhile, I'm trying to.
If it can allow me to. Oh, I'm just trying to, I'm doing my system preference here.
You need to unlock and then
Yeah.
click on the right side.
Will not be able to record the content. Oh, go ahead and reopen. Huh, that's funny.
It's fine. If it says that that's just recording, just say okay later and then come back and it'll let you share.
All right.
All
Now,
right, so does everyone have the diving kit opened up? John, were you able to find it?
there we go. Now I have to do it.
That is very cute. Did you draw this?
Well, I
Kind of.
used the background in Illustrator to do a little image trace, and then I drew all these guys in Photoshop.
That's so cool. All right, so guys, what you're seeing here is an action, an example of one of the kind of things that you can do with Illustrator and Photoshop. So basically the background was a photograph.
Yep.
But he turned it into an illustration in Illustrator. So he brought in a photograph into Illustrator, turned it into a drawing, which is why you see the background, meaning the classroom and the tables. And then you said that you made these little creatures in Photoshop.
Yes.
He would get along very well with my son, who does a lot of these awesome illustrations. And anyway, and so then you created in here. Now, clearly this is a flattened version. It's not the one that had all the layers, but we'll talk about that, but that's very cool. The Mr. Ham Show.
Yep.
All right. So this is an example of two applications in order to get this one thing completed and done. Okay. All right, cool. Now I'm going to stop your sharing and I'm going to share my screen. Is everyone up and running with the little kid diving?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, no, maybe. I'm trying to get Photoshop is still malfunctioning for me, but it's kind of going to do the job.
I
right.
never got your email, so.
Oh. Oh. Okay. I sent it. I'm gonna go to my sent.
Again, because we registered late is maybe there's a problem that way because your files for this class aren't there either.
No, I just, oh, let me see, persons, no, you're in my, no,
She only sent it to John.
No, I didn't, no, I wrote for John, but it says it's the whole address. It's the whole
Yeah,
address.
Ed is
right there.
speaking right now. You sent it only to John.
Oh yeah, this is only for John at this address, right? Yeah, I only sent it to John. Everyone else said that they had an image to open.
Oh, okay. I
I'm sorry.
misunderstood. I thought you were saying we should be opening your,
Got it. I thought
Got
it
it.
was John. I thought you were saying, sorry, Joyce. I thought you were saying that I didn't send the whole email address or something. Yeah, I see what you mean. No, this one, that's true. I did say, do you have the guy diving for everyone on VDI and for John who had the guy diving? Everyone else, do you have something open in Photoshop that you all said you had something? It doesn't matter what, right? So yeah, I only sent it to John. Thank you for speaking. Now I see exactly. Sorry, my brain went somewhere else and I wasn't aware of what you were saying. So here we have an image in Photoshop. Now this is an image that we'll all be able to open. I'll go ahead and then later send it to everyone, but I'm going to send you guys access to all of the files later. So I don't necessarily need you to only have this one. And this is an image that we're going to use to make a postcard, right? Later. And right now, let's just say that we need to do something. We're going to do something really quickly to it because we only have a few minutes left. So this is just to give you an idea of how we're going to transfer images and lay them out and set them up. So this image is going to be, we're going to go ahead and say file. Let's do something to it. Let's do something really quickly to it. You guys, it's not something attractive, but it's really quick. And it'll show you how we're going to complete a process. So we're going to grab this image down, move your mouse down to these little icons right here. Okay. And we're going to click on the round one, the circle. Okay. I'm going to click on that one. Right. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn this one into a black and white image. Right now it has some color. We're going to turn it into a black and white image. So click on black and white. And our whole image has turned into a black and white image. Now, whatever image you opened up with, we're going to turn that image into a black and white image. So if it's yours, if it's mine, if it's anyone's image, don't worry, we're not going to affect your ultimate image. We're going to save it as a different thing. Okay. So this isn't going to affect forever the image that you opened of your favorite dog or the Mr. Ham show. We're just adjusting this in a way that is non-destructive, because all we did is we created an adjustment layer above our image. And if we turn this on with this little eyeball or off, we still have the color underneath. Okay, so leave the little eyeball turned on or off like that. And then you will see the color come and go, come and go. How are we doing there, Radna? I'm checking in with you just because I know this is new to you.
Yeah, I'm not doing. Yeah,
it's
I'm
not
just
happening.
watching. Yeah.
Well, did you open this image?
No.
We have time. We have time. Go ahead and share your screen. I want you to open the image.
Okay.
We're going to open this image. We're going to save it in the save it as a file that we're going to bring into InDesign. Okay, so now go to the.
I am.
Oh, no, that's true. You couldn't get the Google Drive. You weren't able to get into Google Drive. That was the problem. We spent the first half hour of the class while no one was here trying to get him into Google Drive, and Google Drive wasn't working for him. Yeah. Okay,
Diane?
Sorry, I'm wrong. I can't help you. Yes, Ed?
If you have a system that supports libraries, can I do the process that you did before rather than saving a file and then just dumping it into the library to move it over?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
we
Thank
can.
you. Never knew that before.
Yeah.
Worth the
it's
entire
awesome.
class.
Worth the entire class. Thank you for all the hours that you've been waiting here for everything that you know. Woo, something new. Awesome. All right. So Radna, you are right.
Yes.
You're gonna have to watch this because I cannot you can't access Google Drive. I'm so sorry about what's happened. I mean, I keep saying I'm so sorry. It's not my doing, but
Yeah,
I'm sorry that what is
understand.
happening is happening. it's very frustrating, but that's neither here nor there at this point. All right, so I just want to tell you all something. This class finishes at 12:45, but right now it's 12:30, and at this time, in general, I'm going to draw the class to a close with whatever exercises we're doing, not today, in general. We're going to try to bring this class to a close with whatever exercises and assignments we're doing, or at least if we're going to continue working with it, that's at the point where I won't advance anymore. And then I'm going to leave the last 15 minutes available for people who are having personal, this didn't work for me, that didn't work for you. Let me do this, let me do that, let me show you something else, that kind of thing. Normally, I'll finish the class at the right time and then I'll stay behind doing that. But this time, I have another class starting at 1 p.m. that I then teach until 3:45 p.m. So I have 15 minutes total between 9 a.m. and 3:45 to go and have some lunch, which is why I need those 15 minutes and I need to finish the class at 12:45. Other times I'm like, I'll just stay on and help you. But this time I'm going to use these last 15 minutes. Since we're all in the same boat right now, if I already helped you individually and I cannot get you the files right now, Radna, I'm going to continue with this for the next few minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
So just watch this little bit. Okay, so now we have an image here that we have saved and that we are ready to bring into InDesign for something. Well, first of all, we don't know its size right now. We have no idea what size it is, but we can quickly check. So I'm going to go up here to image size. There's so many different ways of checking the size, but we're going to be using this window quite a bit. So let me show this one to you. And I don't know what size is all the ish that you brought in. And so in this case, this image is telling me that it is 16 inches by 11 inches at 72 pixels per inch. Those of you who have the same image that I have will have those numbers, but if you have another image that you opened up, it'll give you a humongous variety of whatever it is that you open, right? John, did you have a question? I think you were about to say something. No?
No, I'm watching.
Okay. All right. So this image, because of the resolution, we're going to learn a lot more about it, is not going to be good for me to print. Okay. This is only going to be good for me to go to the web. So for now, whatever image you guys have, if it says here anything other than 300, then we need to change it. If it says 72, 150, 200, whatever it says, it's not good enough to print. We're going to turn whatever it is that you have into something ready for print. So what you need to do is first turn this resample click off. I'm going to be teaching you much more about this in the future. Right now, just kind of follow my steps to get an idea of how to follow through a whole process. And we're going to turn this off. And now we're going to click in here and turn this into 300. So whatever number you had before, turn it into 300. Now that we've changed this to 300, now this is an image that can be printed, and it'll print at, in my case, 4 inches by 2.5. So it's going to be a pretty small image. What sizes do you guys have? Do you have anything that is, you might even have a 1/2 inch by now, depending on what you had, or you might have still a 10-inch image, or basically whatever size image you opened. By shifting this number to 300, that which is left is whatever size you're going to print out. Does that make sense, you guys?
Diana,
Sí.
Los míos siguen igual. No cambiaron los números.
Did you change? Did you turn this
Yes,
off?
I did.
And 300. So now these
Yeah.
it says 4 by 266.
No, it's
It says
16, 11.
So then cancel, because that's wrong, because you have this image. So and then go and say image size again, and this side, make sure this is off before you change that number. Turn that off, and now get in there and say 300.
Yes.
Now it should work. Yeah. Okay. De nada. Okay, so whatever you see up here, this is the only, you can only print this big or smaller, but you can't go any bigger. So if before it said 16 in my case, a big print, that was not true. I actually can only print it at 4:2, and that's because the resolution of the image is going to be what I've just changed. Now, resolution for this digital design technique class is crucial information. So I'm going to ask you guys to start reading a handout that I have on resolution, especially if you're new to this class and you have not read it in my Photoshop classes before, because it's the hardest thing for people to figure out to do things right. A lot of the times you send something to print and it looks horrible and you wonder why, and this is the key. And I'm going to teach you all about it right now. All I want you to know is that this is going to be a file that is now printable at whatever size you got. Okay, so now go ahead and say okay. All right. And this image here that we have that is ready to go, we're going to now save. We're going to say file, save as, and it's very important to say save as. Do not save, because I don't want you to ruin anything that you have made, whatever that image is of yours that you opened, because you're not working with my images. So do a file save as, like I'm sure Dylan doesn't want to see his little black and white little creatures, whatever other images you use. So do a save as. You're going to get this window asking where to save. You're going to save on your computer. If you want to stop seeing that window, you can actually stop it, but right now you should save that. And then for those of you who are at home and your own computers, go ahead and save it wherever you want to save it. And I have a lot of classes teaching you file management right now. You know, put it in your desktop, put it in your documents, wherever you want to put it. Make sure you can still find it. For the most part, it'll probably try to save in the same folder that you came from. For those of you who are on VDI, so everyone else, click on Google Drive and then go to My Drive. And I think you guys already know this, Gustavo and Isabel, to go into your own drive. We're going to work on this again later, but just drop it into your drive, just loose like that. And the name of this is Add Text Photo. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to save this as, oh, that's true. You can't save as a JPEG anymore. I forgot about that. We should have done it earlier. Just for now, let's go ahead and save it as a TIFF. Did anyone save already?
Oh, I haven't.
You know, leave it as a PSD. Leave it as a PSD. That's fine. Now I'll talk formats later. Right now, I'm just trying to do one little circle of using all three programs really quickly. Leave it as a PSD. PSD means Photoshop document. Okay, PSD, Photoshop document. And we're going to save that as a black and white Photoshop document. Now, if you had the same file in the same place as before, change the name, maybe say dash black and white or something like that. But for the most part, it'll save as a separate document because it's a PSD. You guys had opened a flattened file and now it's a different format. It's a PSD. Why? Because it has a layer above it and it's completely editable. It is non-destructive, but it's a layer making this look black and white. Okay. Now, for those of you who have a library at home, you can go ahead and do this and put it in the library. You need to select both layers. I believe you can do it from here. Let me see. I know you can do it from there, but actually, let me try. If I do this, let me make sure. Select both layers. Yeah, you need to select both layers first. So click one, hold down the selection key and click the other one down. Okay, it's only two layers, but the only way to select both of them is to hold down one, hold down your selection key and click on the other. Now both are colored. Now go over here and drag it into the libraries. And this is for people who can use the libraries. And there's your black and white image, okay? So for most of you who have libraries, go ahead and do that. We're in Photoshop, we moved it to libraries. Now, for those of you who don't have libraries, people on VDI, we've already saved the file and we're gonna bring it in that way. Okay, so now let's head over into InDesign. And for me, because my Photoshop isn't working, I need to exit Photoshop. Let's head over into InDesign. And as soon as I opened up InDesign, guess what I find here? I find that in my library, for those of us who are using a library, you can see that the photograph is here in InDesign as well, right? For those of you who have that, which is most of you guys, you can grab this and drag it and put it into your InDesign. But when it first comes in, it shows up like this little tiny thumbnail that follows your mouse around, okay? I'm going to stop there for a minute because I want to show, for those of you who are on VDI, you need to go to File, Browse and Bridge, File, Browse and Bridge. So for Isabel, Gustavo, you're going to be able to see the recording of this, Radna. So
Yes.
it's okay. You can see the recording of this later, okay? And the same for John. So File, Browse and Bridge. And then go select from this PC, from Google Drive, from from my drive, Google Drive, my drive. This is just for VDI people. Then you can go find in here the photograph that we just saved, the black and white, add text and photo. Okay, so you guys go use that one. And double click on bring it in. And for the, so we're now all in the same spot. So we're just bringing the same file from different places. People at home are bringing it in from the libraries. People on VDI are bringing it in from Bridge. Okay. And you guys at home can practice both ways, but I'm just showing you this time the library, which I won't show all the time. And so here we have this image. Now, if you know what size you made it, then I know that mine was like 4x6. I know it'll work fine here. This is an 8.5 by 11 document. If you guys had a smaller one or a bigger one, depending on what you have, the moment you do a single click, that image is going to drop in at that size that you had. Okay, so I'm going to do a single click right now. Single click, just drop, click and drop. And so that is my image. And if I look at my page, if this is an 8.5 by 11 page, that's about right. This is about half of it. It's a 4 by 2.5 image. Remember what I'm talking about? That in Photoshop, my image was going to be about 4 inches by 2.5. So if this white paper was 8.5 by 11, which is what we asked for, we opened a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, a letter size paper, that photo dropped in at its right size. How did it work for you guys though? Did it work that you had a bigger or a smaller image? Maybe you had an image that was bigger than 8.5 by 11.
I did.
If so,
and what it did was create a box inside the InDesign frame, but with no information in it.
if it's much bigger than what you're seeing is just
It's 18 by 12.
Yeah. So then go ahead and say Control or Command Z to pick it up again. Okay.
Okay.
So for those of you for whom it was too big, say Control or Command Z. And now instead of just clicking, do a click and drag to make it be the size that you want, and then let go of your hand, and it'll fill in to whatever size you want it to fill in.
So
it might be easier to show if you share your screen. Right now, basically, it doesn't matter too much what size it came in. I just want to make sure that you see your image. So I'm going to help you in a second, Ed. But what I'm trying to show you is here we have a document. As much as it's just a you know, a loose document sample, but you have an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper where we brought in a photograph from Photoshop. Okay, so maybe this is going to be a newsletter. We change it in Photoshop. We're going to have a title here. We're going to have this thing that we brought from Illustrator, which we can change its size if we want. Could be the logo for the company that we made in Illustrator. Here's the photograph. And then here in InDesign, we're going to start writing the text for this newsletter that we're going to make. Okay,
I got
so
it to work. I got it to work.
Okay, great. So we've combined all four, because we use Bridge to source our files, and we use the libraries to switch back and forth. Some of you use libraries, some of you guys use Bridge. So in InDesign, we're going to put in our title and reset, prepare it for print, and out all our text for the newsletter, and then it's going to go. So we're going to actually stop this example right now. It was just an idea to get you guys to feel how we're going to be sharing all of the different, we're going to make actual logos, we're going to make actual photos, I'm going to put in actual products, and then we're going to decide if that product is going to be for print or for screen or for what we're planning to do, and set up the InDesign document to prepare it to be ready to go, bring all the materials in from the other programs, and then we're going to finalize that, figure out how to finalize something when you need to send it to a printer, when you need to send it online. What we're going to work with fonts, we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff like that to make it actually be a perfect final piece. All right. So for now, what we need to do is we're going to close this file. We don't need to save this. This is just a sample file. If you want to save it as your first sample file, go ahead and do so. But I'm going to go ahead and close everything without saving. So I'm going to actually go ahead and go to this word untitled, click on this little X and say save changes. I'm going to say no to this one. This is InDesign. And to close each program in the PC, you have to go up to this little X over there. If you are in VDI, please follow all these steps, Isabel, Gustavo, Radna. If you
Yes.
close any other way than what I'm showing you, the programs will have a harder time showing next week. So please be very, very careful. If you're on your own computer, close it whichever way you want. But for VDI, we need to be pretty careful. So here's Bridge. We're going to go ahead and close this one too. And then here's Illustrator. And again, I'm not going to save this. So I'm going to close the file. And do you want to save the file? I'm going to say no. And we're going to close Illustrator. And now do the same thing for Photoshop, which mine is already closed.
Jack Daly.
And and this is very important, for VDI people, you need to shut down your internal computer, your VDI computer. So go down to this little apple and go, and you need to sign out of your Google Drive. Go over here to this little icon, go to your Google Drive. You don't have this, Radna, because this is the part that wasn't working for you. And go to Preferences and disconnect account. So Radna, you need to go to that link that I gave you for tech support. You need to tell them that your Google Drive was not working in VDI. Can you write that down? Say that in VDI, in class on Friday, in VDI, you could not get your Google Drive to work, and that your teacher helped you, and it just says, but it had a message there, something about not enabled. Okay. And now go down here, and we're going to click on power, and we're going to say shut down. This is going to shut down the VDI computer, not your personal computer. So you're shutting down the school computer. And then we're going to log out of VDI. Okay, guys. So it'll say you've been disconnected. Go up here and log out of VDI. I'm going to do my utmost best to get them to explain what's happening. If for any reason they're going to still be having issues with Google Drive, I'll find a way to get you the files. I'll put them on something else other than Google Drive for you guys to download the files, so that next week we're going to all start the class with the files that we need for the class ready to go. Okay. Listen, keep an eye for an email from me and follow the instructions for how to get the files. probably, if I'm reaching out to them on Monday, let's give it till Wednesday. By Wednesday, you should have an email from me with instructions, latest Thursday, but I really would prefer by Wednesday, with how to download the files so that when we come to class on Friday morning, you can open up and say, okay, let's open this one, let's open that one. We're going to begin to work with stuff of our own from class. Okay.
Okay.
Remember that if you want to access the recording of this class for any reason, you can go to Pipeline, and I'm going to put the link here for you to access. All right. So by tomorrow morning, the latest, you should have a link over here. And I'm going to send you an email with the link for the first time. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
I have a class starting in 10 minutes. So I'm going to leave you now.
Yeah.
And
Enjoy
I'll
your
see
lunch.
you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Diana. Thank you.
Bye, guys. See you in a
Okay,
week and some of you
bye.
guys sooner. Bye.
Okay, bye.